until he acknowledges on his side that he's ours, then I'm still salty about it.
I want him to want to be with us.
Exactly.
You know,
that's all. Want me.
Could this be the first ever Fred-Evan argument?
I'm not arguing.
Oh, well, he disagrees with you.
About what?
Like you said, it was nice, and he's disgusted by it.
Paul's trying to pick a fight here. I agree.
He completely disagrees with you. I don't understand how you can think
About
he's saying
what?
the same thing. He's mad at Tom.
Yes.
But he still wants him to come back.
But he's mad at Tom. You're not.
He looks like a fraud.
It just bumps me.
Yeah.
Did you catch that one, too?
What?
He looks like a fraud because he is one. Nasty Evan.
Wow, nasty Evan.
This is
I thought
awesome.
Somebody hurt you, Evan.
Yeah, Tom
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
The one that
Tom
got
did.
away,
Tom
literally.
did.
Tom
It's
did.
like the ex-girlfriend that got away. And
No,
it's Tom Brady
this is
forever.
worse.
Yeah.
Come back and grovel at my feet.
I
You
just
get
want him to
a
tell me that he
celebrity
loves me. That's it.
That's what it is.
Can't you just fake it?
Yeah,
Just exactly. Like, you don't even have to mean it deep down.
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Fueled by Duncan. All right, we're here. We're waiting for Fred. I'm not sure where he is, but here we are.
Is this on?
Patriots
This on?
Unfiltered.
Where's Fred?
We don't know what to do. There you go, empty chair, just waiting for him. But hey, welcome to Patriots Unfiltered. Here we are, Thursday. It's Deuce, it's Alex, it's Paul Perillo, and we'll probably have Fred joining us here shortly. We're live on video as well if you'd like to tune in and see our faces. Big show today. Big show, kind of. We got Super Bowl preview, talk some Super Bowl. And,
Oh, yeah.
you got the lines on those
No.
ones? We gotta dig
We're
those up.
prepared,
I
clearly.
didn't. Well, we had a big meeting today.
We did. We reviewed all our content for the year.
A
and,
long meeting.
It was a long meeting, and seeing what the fans were responding to this year, all avenues of social media, Instagrams,
All
TikToks.
the algorithms.
Which, we're talking about Snapchat, too. I didn't realize, and Paul, you wouldn't have believed it, but Paul was the expert on Snapchat in the movie.
Big Snapchat guy.
I was not the expert.
It's like, my sons both use it. I don't know. I said walking down that I just thought Snapchat was you send sexy pictures to somebody and then they disappear
not
forever.
sexy.
It's not
It's
sexy.
not-
It's
That's
not
what it
sexy.
started
sexy.
for, though. Let's be serious.
It's not sexy.
It's not
at all.
sexy at all, man. It's
Oh.
scruff like dog.
Yeah, so it's a little peek behind the curtain here at Patriots.com. So, we'll
Peek.
see. But pretty good year, overall. I think everybody did pretty well, worked hard, and, obviously we're tied to some of the results on the field. So it's a little bit challenging always, depending on how they're doing well or not. But anywho, we're here. We'll be here for the next 2 hours. We'll have Evan coming down for the end of the show. We'll talk some Super Bowl, and of course, Catch 22 will be on the edge of this one right at the end, 2 to 3, 4ish, somewhere in there. Depending on how long Alex and Evan decide to talk, which could be a while. We'll see. Evan's mock draft, plenty to discuss. We're getting into draft and all that, but I don't know about you guys, but I'm just kind of ready to get the Super Bowl. I'm excited to watch it, but I'm ready to get past this and get really into the offseason because you're in this period for all these teams that lose coming into the Super Bowl. You're just kind of waiting for, all right, when are we on the official offseason? When are we all back at the bottom of the mountain to start to climb again? And there's a lot going on, too, in the offseason. We get into scouting combine and owners meetings and the draft and all that fun stuff. So excited to turn the page. But what Alex, I'm going to start with you. What are your plans for Super Bowl this weekend here?
Oh, my friend just had a baby, so I'm going to go to her house, meet the baby. We're all going to watch the Super Bowl, hopefully not be too loud for the baby. But really looking forward to it.
Wow, that's stressful. I imagine asking my wife, hey, we just had a newborn. I'm going to have people over for the Super Bowl, and that probably would not happen.
It's a very small, intimate group.
All right, that's good. But she unfortunately, she might be dealing with the baby the whole time. I don't know how much of the game she's going to get to.
She's not a big football person. It's
So she don't
more
care.
her boyfriend thing.
Help her.
Yeah.
Take the baby off her hands and
Right.
give her
I'll
some-
bring some food over and entertain her baby daddy.
That's a big question in my house is what's the food going to be? I think
Oh, I thought it was who's the baby daddy.
Not-
worried me
not-
there.
Not in my
Deuce
house,
doesn't
Paul.
have
Worried me there for a second, Deuce.
I know who my baby's daddies are. It's me. But yeah, just tough. Like,
Do ya?
What are we eating? I think so. At least the younger one looks like me, but the older one looks just only like my wife. So
Maybe we'll get a paternity test on that.
I think
You are the father.
we're a little too deep on that right now. But
All right, I'll stop.
I got to. We got to figure out what we're gonna do. Like nacho plates or some taco dip.
Wings, buffalo chicken dip. I don't know yet. I haven't thought that far.
Are you ordering, Paul? I assume you got.
Yeah, we're ordering for the most part, but we have not finalized the menu, and I'm not sure exactly how much help I'm going to have because Beth has to work over the weekend.
Big party
And your
at
boys
the
are
Pearlo
like,
house?
Yes.
feed me now, Dad. And you got 2 high school kids who
Well,
probably
yeah,
eat their
I'll probably
weight.
have like 30 people at the house, so I got to figure that out at some point.
Yeah, maybe a catering
But
order.
definitely buffalo chicken dip. We'll definitely have the buffalo dip going. That'll be a staple.
All right. What do we have? Any recent Patriots news? It's been kind of a quiet couple of
We
days.
talked about the
around here.
coaching changes with
Yeah.
Adrian Clem and Will Law. I don't know
Lawing,
why I
Lawing.
cannot say that name. Lawing. It's not. It doesn't like.
Needs a consonant in
roll
there
off the
somewhere.
tongue.
Something hard. You need like a T or some like long. Yeah, you know.
The W throws you like the. It's a hard sound to like enunciate.
Yeah. And so assuming he's going to coach tight ends, we talked about Kaylee has gone to the Rams. I also saw that what's his name? Ryan Wendell
went to the Rams.
Went to the Rams as well. I know a lot of teams seems like waiting on the Colts. The Colts are kind of dragging their feet a little bit on this head coaching front, and I feel like that's kind of stopping things up.
And now you'll wait until after the Super Bowl, I would assume.
Yeah, the
Right?
team's trying to get offensive coordinators. I know, and I saw some rumors about Eric Bieniemy being up for like an offensive coordinator position. Would he make a lateral move like that? That seems kind of silly to me.
I don't pretend to be the foremost expert on Eric Bieniemy, but I saw people tweeting yesterday. I think Field Yates, our good buddy Field Yates, he had like 5 years of Kansas City's offense with Eric Bieniemy as the play caller. As far as I understand it, Eric Bieniemy's never been the play caller for Kansas City, and that's part of what I think has been holding him back. And a lot of people have pushed back the other way, saying, well, Doug Peterson wasn't a play caller and Matt Nagy wasn't a play caller under Andy Reid either, and they got head coaching opportunities. Why hasn't Eric Bieniemy? Mm-hmm. And I don't know the answer to that, but I just think that to say, I don't really think, it's my understanding he hasn't ever consistently called play. I'm not saying he's never called plays in a game, but I think Andy Reid has been the primary play caller throughout his tenure in Kansas City.
Yeah, seems like it. I mean, certainly a guy who's had success, though. But, I mean, then we get into all the offensive coordinator stuff that we talked about with Bill O'Brien and last year and everything of having that experience as a play caller being, I think you said it, Paul, as like
if it
kind
was
of that
relevant,
last feature you need to take that next step, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think that some of these guys, the coordinators, I think you need to at least get to that level to get really into the head coaching circles.
Yeah.
If you're not a coordinator, it's hard, I think it's hard to make the jump. It's not impossible. Guys have done it, but I think you have to be calling plays on both sides of the ball. Defensive coordinator, offense, whatever. You have to be calling plays and running some sort of offense, some sort of program.
And other than India, are there any head coaching positions still open?
Was
in
there
the
another
league?
one? So
Carolina got
Arizona's still open,
Frank.
isn't it?
Arizona.
Arizona and Indy, right? Houston is D'Amico Ryans. Obviously, Denver was Sean Payton.
Carolina
was Frank Reich, and then the other two, I think, is Arizona and Indy. I think they're both still vacant.
Still waiting to see.
I saw that like Brian Flores was a candidate in Arizona, but he has recently taken a defensive coordinator job in Minnesota.
Yep.
Replacing Ed Donatel.
Good for him. That's
Yeah, I mean,
Spent
good
a
for
year
Minnesota. I mean, their
Yeah.
defense was a train wreck.
Yeah, spent a year in Pittsburgh, and I got a lot of respect for B-Flow. We'll see how he does with Kevin O'Connell, a couple other Patriots guys. Paul, there was something I want to bring up. I'm going to bring up something with you since Fred's not here and I get to kind of run the show for a moment.
Would have been nice if he told us he wasn't coming.
I know. I mean, we just sat with him for 2 hours. What happened?
I hope he's
text
okay.
or anything?
He spent half the meeting making fun of me.
Someone send a wellness check.
A lot of checking out Fred. Hopefully he'll walk in
I will.
soon.
I'll send him a text now.
But I want to talk just about something Andy wrote yesterday, and a very common thing that people are talking about with T. Higgins. And, the Patriots should pursue T. Higgins. And I want to say at the top of this, like, I get it. Like, they need any plus weapon that they can get. But I just wonder, is this just kind of a reaction to what the Eagles did last year with A.J. Brown? And would this occur to anybody had the Eagles not kind of made a similar move? Now, for me, I see A.J. Brown as a number one receiver. And I just wonder with T. Higgins, and we hear it so much the last few years, they got a bunch of 2s and 3s. do we think T. Higgins is a 2 or a 3, or do we think he's a potential number 1? Now, I went and looked at some of the numbers, and when Jamar Chase was out this year, he performed very well. Like, he had some real good games. So I think he's a consistent guy. All 3 of his years, he looked like a guy who just is consistent in producing. And it's such a popular hot button topic. I didn't want to pick on Andy, but I just thought, is this
You
just
could
kind
pick
of a
on him
reaction?
for stealing my take,
Yeah,
but that's neither here nor there.
But a lot of people have talked about this, and so I can't help but feel like, is this really the guy? Like, and again, AJ Brown, I'd be all for it. I think he's a number 1. He's a beast. He brings a whole thing. I just don't know about T. Higgins, and if this is just a reaction to certainly a Patriots need, but is this really the guy that they need to come in and really make the difference? That's what I'm.
Yeah, I mean, I think he is. Now, I'm not going to sit here and bang the table saying, well, you had a disastrous offseason because you didn't make this trade for T. Higgins. And I'm not saying that. But I do think that he has enough of a sample size where he is the guy. And the offense looks very similar, if not the same. And I think he has the size to be a number 1 kind of guy. I mean, obviously,
guy.
Chase was a top, I think he was the 5th pick, top 5 pick. So Chase has elevated everybody. But he was there before Chase, and he had to step in when Chase was out for a good stretch last year in the production. That was when the Bengals were playing their best football, was in November and December when they went undefeated. So I do think that he would transform the offense, but I think Cincinnati thinks that too. And I don't know. You asked the question, like, would people be saying this if not for what happened last year with Philadelphia? And maybe not. But I do think, much like when Peyton Manning changes, and by the good news, Fred Kirsch is on his way.
Oh, thank God.
He's on his way. Much like when Peyton Manning switched teams from, Indy to Denver initially, and you started to see quarterbacks change teams. Well, you never really thought, like, geez, could we make a move to get Aaron Rodgers? You would never think that. But then once quarterback movement among high-profile quarterbacks starts to happen, you start to think, well, yeah, why not? Why couldn't we do that? And I think same thing with all those wide receivers that entered the last year of their rookie deals and sort of started to make a fuss, like, oh, no, you know what? I know I have another year on my rookie deal, but you're going to pay me now or trade me.
Yeah.
So the precedent's been set, and I used the 4 guys that did it last year very successfully. 2 of them changed teams, 2 of them got deals. And I think that Cincinnati, when push comes to shove, will do everything in their power to keep that together at least. Because I think
1 more year.
Yeah, because I think that you still have Chase on his rookie deal. Burrow's going to get paid now, more than likely. And I think Higgins would look at it and say, why do I want to leave this? I'm going to be very successful. We're going to have a very good offense, and we're going to have a chance to win the Super Bowl. Where do I want to go? Then maybe he might look at it differently after that.
What do you think it would potentially take to get him? Like, I mean, what will be a trade package? Do you think that the Patriots have any non-draft pick specific player assets to move? Like, it's
no, it would have to be draft picks.
Because I mean,
I would, probably a first round pick, but maybe could a 2
Kyle Duggar?
Could a 2 and a 3, but why would you want to do that?
I know it's almost a swap of 2 guys that are in the last year of their deal, and maybe what I mean. Like,
yeah,
I'm just trying to think of somebody who moves the needle. Hi, Fred.
What are we talking about?
T.
Higgins.
T. Higgins. Andy's piece about T. Higgins, and that we were trying to just tread water without you. We were like,
I thought you were talking about
ship
Aaron
lost in the
Rodgers
night.
for a second.
No, I was saying, like, you would look at it, maybe 10 years ago, and you would say, well, I can't get it. Aaron Rodgers. Why am I going to even think about trading for him? That's impossible. But when you start to see high-profile quarterbacks changing teams, now it opens the door, and people go into this season and say, yeah, why not Aaron Rodgers? I could make a trade for Aaron Rodgers. Same thing with these high-profile wide receivers. 5 years ago, I would have said, T. Higgins is on his rookie contract. Why would Cincinnati want to get rid of him?
Right. Yep.
But they might not want to get rid of him. T. Higgins might say, bleep you, trade me, unless you're going to pay me.
Right.
And that's why he could be available. Now, I don't think he will, because I think he will look at it like I just said. I can win a Super Bowl here. I'm going to be very successful in this offense. I have Joe Burrow throwing me the football. Why do I want to go into the last year of my deal on an offense that has a lot of question marks?
Yeah.
So I don't think that T. Higgins will do that. But he might. Who knows?
Is there anybody else out there? Sorry, Fred. I'm going to let you get in here.
No, it's okay.
Is there anybody else out there? And I haven't seen it mentioned. It's just everybody's like, T. Higgins. Is there anyone else out there in this kind of position? That they
Jerry
could
Jeudy is the other one.
I like that one. too.
Yeah. And,
Well,
you
it's
have
Alabama.
You have the little bit of the Alabama connection, even though they really didn't they know each
Cross
other, but they
paths.
didn't really play that much together, if at all. Same kind of deal. Going into his, I think this is his 5th-year option year, right?
Has he been a disappointment?
A little bit, but
know
I mean,
he's
the
a
the
high-rated-
offense has been a train wreck.
Yeah, Russell Wilson and
Which is why I think he's more attainable, because he might look at it and say, I need to get out of here. My career's dying because this guy can't throw the ball anymore.
yeah. How's he feel about Sean Payton too? And,
Yeah, I don't
and
know.
where that direction's
I
going.
would say that probably eliminates him, because Sean Payton is pretty smart, and if he can play, he'll probably find a way. But at the same time, Sean Payton had a wide receiver who was pretty productive entering the last year of his rookie deal.
Mount Cooks. Here we
Mount
come.
Cooks. And the Patriots made a trade for him,
Yeah.
Brandon Cooks.
All right. So you've been talking about possible free agent movement, big name free agent movement.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we brought up that Andy's article. We talked, little Super Bowl, plans this weekend for people, food,
Yeah.
those kind of things.
What
But
will you guys be doing? Group?
That's what I'm trying
alone?
to decide.
Yeah.
Group,
I'm
family,
gonna eat.
little
Yeah.
family,
Yeah.
get together. Alex has got a baby shower during it.
I'm going to be
Baby shower.
I'm
It's a
gonna
Super
be
Bowl
on
party.
vacation during the
So
Super
you're
Bowl.
where? You're out next week, and you're headed to
Aruba. So I'm going to be watching on the beach. Yeah.
Are you shutting all my TVs off there, Morel?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Uh-oh.
What do you mean you're getting flagged? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We shouldn't do
Yeah,
that.
no one wants to watch basketball.
Except for me and Paul last week, that women's basketball game that for some reason we were glued to.
Well, listen, any amateur sports Paul's into. Yeah.
This is why I don't come in the
Well,
Thursday and Friday. The
He's
NCAA
flying
tournament.
high. He's in the Beanpaw final on Monday night.
I
It's,
know. I can't believe
Huskies
North-
knocked off
Northeastern?
his hated Terriers.
Northeastern versus
Hated-
Harvard.
It's the first
what's
time.
the line on that
It's
one,
the
Paul?
first time.
Harvard should be the favorite.
Isn't that crazy to you? That this is
Yeah,
the first
it's-
time in
it-
71 years that
It speaks to
in
the
a
utter
four-
ineptitude of those
Right,
two
yeah,
schools.
right?
Oh, come on. Or how BU and BC are hockey factories.
That too. That too.
UMass making
Yeah.
Do you still have Kel
UMass
McCarr?
is not invited.
we have his little brother.
It's too far. Oh, you got him, little McCarr?
Yeah, we got little Makar.
Oh, he's fun to watch. The big one. I mean.
Talk about disappointments this year.
So what other storylines?
hockey.
What other storylines do we have, Patriots or Super Bowl related or anything like that we need to place on the table here?
Yeah, that's what I mean. We're trying to dig through any Patriots takes, and there wasn't, not a lot going on the last 2 days. I think a lot of it's just been the Super Bowl build-up and how healthy is Patrick Mahomes, and listen to a lot of the takes of I respect a lot of people I've heard on the radio just saying like you just can't rule out Patrick Mahomes like in this game, and even if you would think that the offensive line and defensive line advantages go to Philadelphia, Patrick Mahomes is the wild card this weekend, and how he kind of does that could very well determine what the game is.
Yeah. So I mean, if he comes out and looks like nothing's wrong, I'm sure people will be looking into what did they do over these last 2 weeks to get him ready, and like people are going to be clamoring for whatever that technique was for going forward for other guys who have high ankle sprains.
Oh God!
you know?
And then poor people like Mac Jones will be like, "Well, just do what Patrick Mahomes did."
Right,
and
right.
like-
Yeah, I there's no way I think that he can be 100%.
No.
I just don't think. But
I do wonder what the status is just in terms of having played a game on it, and now you got 2 weeks off. Is that a good thing to get a game in and kind of get used to it and know what you're dealing with, or did that set him back? Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know either. But we'll see. We will see.
All possibilities.
Yeah.
I would say he's not as healthy as he would have been had he not
and
played.
Did you know that the Kelseys are brothers and they're playing against each other in this game?
Is that true? I heard.
Yeah.
I heard something about.
Yeah, and their
that.
mother is going to be there.
Now, is there a third brother, Cooper?
Yeah.
Too?
Cooper Kelsey.
Cooper
I
Kelce.
bet their mom makes one of those
Yeah.
split jerseys.
Yeah, they're
Dude, I did see she gave them both cookies, and it just looked like classic mom bag of cookies, like Jason Kelsey
but like
from
you know,
Mom. And
the
like,
way they
it's
did
so-
it, they were on stage and like she comes up behind him like it's a surprise, like she was coming back from war and they haven't seen her for like, it's one of those things
She's
you
been in
see on
Afghanistan.
Twitter. It's like it's like
Don't
they
mock those.
probably,
Those get
The
me every
military
time.
They
family
probably
reunion.
saw her like 3 hours earlier,
Right,
But those military reunions get me every
Oh,
time.
I
Every single
know.
time
with the
there's tears.
kids.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, forget about
I
it.
know, but it was just kind of, I don't know. Even I think Travis admitted, he goes, even I'm getting sick of my mom at this point.
Big shock that he's the one that's sick
I
of his mom.
took
Yeah,
the
right.
words out of my
You might
mouth.
wanna take
Jason
that
was
one
like,
back.
I love my mother. She's a saint.
Yeah.
Dorothy Mantooth.
But I think there's some pretty good buzz around the game this year.
It's a good matchup.
Yeah.
I agree. Good matchup.
I think what I'm what I'm kind of like, and I didn't watch a lot of Philly this year. I feel like I have a inflated opinion of Philadelphia. Perhaps I think that maybe because I'm impressed by their two lines,
Winning.
Yeah, winning. But then I turn on the radio and I hear
they
they
stink.
haven't beat anybody.
Oh, they stink.
And then I hear about Chris Sims, who usually I go the opposite of him, but he hates Jalen Hurts too, I guess, and is just like making the rounds at Radio Row, undercutting him, talking about that he's really not that good.
Yeah,
I've been totally impressed with him
No
every
good.
time I've watched.
No, the Eagles.
I know he was hurt, but I mean they're a really talented team, and that's hard to
I just think
overlook.
it's weird in just how much people have been willing to dismiss everything Philadelphia's done.
Yeah, and was
And
their
I'm not,
schedule really
I'm
that
not,
bad?
I'm not trying to tell you that I'm this huge Eagles fan or Jalen Hurts fan. I think Jalen Hurts' progression as a passer to me is astounding. How much better he is
Well, we saw it close
today
up.
than he
Even
was
go
when he
back to
came
just
into
the
the
beginning
league.
of this
Yeah.
year.
I mean, in between Joe Flacco bathroom breaks, we saw out back in Philly last summer.
And listen, I have no doubts that they're doing things. Stop me if you've heard this before, but they're actually coaching, and they're accentuating the things that he does well, and they're making it a little bit easier for him. Probably taking away some of the things that he struggled with. Half-field reads, RPOs. Using him more as an absolute. I mean, he rushed for almost 800 yards and I don't even know how many touchdowns. 14 touchdowns, 13 touchdowns, whatever it was. The guy's had an MVP year. I think he has been the MVP. I think Mahomes will win it going away. But we'll find that out tonight, right? The honors. I think the NFL honors are tonight.
I think just too many people just
dismissing
say
him.
He got benched in the second half of the national championship, and it was the right move. And
that's when people got out, and they've never gotten back in.
Well, he's definitely not a pure passer. He's not a he's not going to be confused with Tom Brady or Peyton Manning as a passer.
But I think if he wins this Super Bowl, I'm really rooting for him because I think he is a winner.
Yeah,
I think he is a winner.
Well, that's the night that he won me over as a fan.
Yeah,
like fanboy Paul.
Right.
The way he handled that Fred's talking about was astounding.
It was the right move by Saban to take him out. You can't deny that. They ended up winning the game, and they were behind. But so because of that, people think, well, he's not a winner. But I think he is a winner, and I think he's proving it this year. But he needs that big game win against a good opponent, and I think then people will start to forget about Alabama.
Yeah, the other interesting take that I'm just kind of what about was that their window's going to close soon. That was another talking point that I heard that Philly's kind of there now and they've got to get one. Why?
No, I think that was a Jerry Jones thing. Jerry Jones made a comment they went all in on this year, and people are trying to figure out why is that accurate.
I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm sure they signed some. I think Hassan Reddick was a 1-year contract. I'm sure they signed some free agents on 1-year deals. But A.J. Brown, they gave the bag to, so he's not going anywhere.
How many years is he? I got to look that one up.
So I don't understand why that's the case. I mean, I think Bradbury may have been a 1-year deal as well, but I don't think that they're just going to fall apart next year. I think they're a pretty good team. What I've been stunned with is the amount of they haven't played against anybody's.
Yeah, that's the other one.
I mean, they play in a division that had 3 playoff teams.
Right.
And that winning streak at the beginning of the year, no matter who you're playing, it's hard to string that many wins together
right.
in the NFL.
And for the most part, they played pretty well. They had a couple of, just like everybody else. They had, Kansas. I mean, there was a stretch that Kansas City was going overtime with, Houston. I don't hear anybody saying they didn't play anybody. Is it just because the Chiefs have a track record for 5 years, so they're overlooking it? Those kinds of things. I think both of these teams were 2 of the best 3 or 4 teams in football from the start of the year on, and they stayed there.
Yeah.
They never. They both went 14-3. They never really had any lulls.
Right.
Well, and I don't think either one of them has trailed in the playoffs. Was that? I think I saw that too. That both of them have just. I mean, obviously the Eagles had a pretty, an easier kind of road.
Yeah, and that's. I mean, the Eagles' road in the playoffs that's undeniable.
Patriots mid to 2010s.
They had 2 tomato can games.
I guess the other thing that is still in Patriots fans' mind is, what's going to happen with Tom Brady. After our show, Robert Kraft, he had another interview with somebody with NBC 10.
Malcolm Johnson, I want to say the guy's name was.
Yeah, and said that, he wants to sign him to a 1-day contract. And Yeah, I don't know why Robert's stuck on that in particular, but I think, the intention is to do something,
Yeah, it's. I mean, he clearly wants him to come back, and I mean, everybody wants him to come back. I think it's just a question of what does Tom want to do, and what does he feel is appropriate, and hopefully they can all get together and figure out something fun coming down the pike.
Yeah. So internally, we've had fun over the last few days talking about what should we do, what can we do, what are the things that are on the table, and obviously this is all up to Tom Brady, so it's only just spitballing until he says what he wants to do, but you kind of want to give him some options,
What's he thinking?
So we'll see. I mean, he's announced he's not going to be doing broadcasting till 2024. So
what did you think of the Florio speculation that he may not be done? Like that was him, Florio. I think
you can't help but say that there's even if it's small, that there's a percentage that he could still play. Like, I think I heard you on one of your shows, Paul.
You
saying,
didn't hear me.
If a team is down a quarterback going into training because of injury, like
it's going to get the itch.
Yeah.
I think that's the hard time, too. I mean, I've talked to a couple of different football players who always say that, like, you don't care during the offseason. You're like, oh, this is great. But as soon as, like, training camp comes and, like, the smell of the grass in the summer, like, I remember James Devlin specifically when I talked to him for my article I wrote last year, saying that's when it happens, like August. That's when you start to get the itch and you want to play again. Right now, he's probably just enjoying being away from
I didn't see...
Unless you're the Mannings, and they... seem to have something to do every day.
I didn't see the thing by Florio. I would put that at less than 1%. Like I maybe I'm being the naive one, which I try not. I'm usually the cynical one. I believe Tom when he said, he kind of was poking fun at himself. This time for good or whatever.
Yeah.
But why, when he was asked that direct question recently, I think it was on his, he didn't answer it directly.
I don't know what.
Like
I haven't seen him talk.
It was all this
since
stuff.
the video.
Yeah, I think it was Jim Gray that asked him the question, and he didn't answer the question.
Back.
What?
Brady swore at Jim Gray.
Oh no, that was
earlier.
before.
Yeah, no, but
that was if I knew what I was going to effing do, I would have effing done it already.
No, this is just like last week.
Wait, sorry, pause. Was Tom colon
was so organic.
No, he asked him.
Yes.
He just asked him this week on the podcast, and the answer wasn't a yes or no. It was a lot of filibustering, and
Was that on this podcast with Bill? Because I didn't. See
it might have been the same episode. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then why not just go through the off season with just I don't know. Like why would you come out again? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I mean, if you're saying no, and somebody wants you, they have to come at you hard. If you're like, then you lose. You create leverage for yourself if you're saying, yeah. If you're intimating anyway that I'm done.
I think you're right though, Fred. Like if Tua gets concussed week 2 of training camp,
right,
that just seems they come hard for Brady, right?
Yeah.
That's just he's sitting out there.
That's a great scenario.
I think teams that are a quarterback away.
Yeah,
what's stopping you?
And there's nothing on record. There is on record, like you said. This time I'm done. But
I don't know.
When Jim Gray asked him, he wouldn't say it.
I just need to see him get through in August. If I see him get through the August,
to me it's the
without
season. I think it's the regular once the games start. But I don't know. Maybe I'm being.
Well, do you think though?
I got my eyes closed and I'm not paying attention to all the signs.
But to that point,
because your scenario was very plausible.
But unless he comes back and does really well, does it? Does it hurt him to come back and just be on a middling team, just to collect a paycheck?
The point I was just going to say to Paul was, and we talked about this last week, was the lack of preparation this year being part of the reason why he didn't have a great year. And does he recognize that? And is it going to be even worse if he just tries to hop in week 3 and try to? Well,
it's preparation and it's also passion. Yeah. And his own father said recently he noticed a decline in the passion over the last couple years.
You gotta stop paying more attention to this crap.
Yeah.
I wonder why. That's interesting to me.
I missed
your entire personal life falling apart.
Yeah.
Tom Sr.
Hard to get.
I missed all of this.
Hard to get excited about football when
Tom
you're going
Sr.
through
mentioned
divorce.
that. And he would know. He's watched his son his whole life.
Damn rights.
Damn rights.
I just never thought that that's what would go. I thought that his will to compete and to play would drag him 1 year too far beyond what his body could actually
I
do.
think you can't, for whatever reason they got divorced, you can't discount that whole situation. That it tore him mentally.
Yeah.
He lost his focus because, he really was trying to be in both places and trying to, salvage this. And I think it really did take a toll on him, and it took away his focus on football.
And once he decided to unretire the first time, there's no discounting, as he's working out, as he's preparing for the season, how much is he trying to hide it? No, Alex, don't worry about me over here. I'm with you. I'm with you in the kid. But I gotta work out and prepare and kind of not let her see me that I'm doing it. I'm not really all in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
It's Tom, why are you doing squats still?
So
no reason. No reason.
I think that's
Gotta be
huge.
pliable
I
for
think that's a
retirement.
huge part of it.
Because they didn't just all of a sudden wake up on whatever the date was that we found out that they were divorced and it was over. I mean,
That's months in the
it was
process.
deteriorating.
Well,
right?
him leaving
Years.
training camp. I mean,
Years.
wasn't that was reported why he left training camp? They
That-
went on
well,
a
that's the
thing
speculation.
to try to save it, maybe.
That's the speculation.
There's
But I'm
also-
talking about even in the off season, as he's preparing for the season. It's what was he in Montana with Danny Amendola and Julian Edelman? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Sorry, Alex.
And I think the final straw
No,
for
Fred
her
interrupted you.
was
That wasn't my fault.
You won a Super Bowl in Tampa. Why are you still playing?
Yeah.
What have you? And I think those last 2 years in Tampa, those were probably miserable for him, and for her.
Well, last year.
Well,
2 years ago, they were good.
they were good, but
They were really good.
But I think he mentally fought through it. But I think it. But I just can't imagine that she was happy after you win a Super Bowl that you're going to keep playing now.
Yeah. It seemed like the perfect kind of sail off into the sunset.
Of course it was.
No one's really going to – I mean, everybody's going to talk about that Super Bowl that he won away from here. Nobody's really going to talk about these last two seasons.
You quit
really.
on top. Yeah, could you have kept playing? You could have, and that's part of what makes it great. It's like, who knows how long he could have kept playing? You leave that ambiguous, There's no answer. There's no correct answer to that question, and so you leave on top and sail off into the sunset, and everything's good.
I just think the hard thing with him is he's as competitive an athlete as I've ever seen, and how do you make up for that? I think that's the hardest thing for professional athletes. They get out of the sport, they're so used to competing, and like even for me, like I don't know about you, Paul, but like when I got out of playing college hockey, like it's a void, and you don't realize how lucky you are to be able to go out and play a sport and compete against other guys at a level, even at just college sport level. It's an adjustment for anybody.
It's absolutely
It's like your
true.
identity.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh, me, 100%.
I mean, like I stopped playing tennis for a long time, and I just started playing again. And I'm telling you, I have pure joy being out on the tennis court.
I get that.
The smell of the balls.
Yeah, it's just getting out there and hitting, and competing against yourself and trying
Save
to
that
get
one,
better.
Matt.
And like I miss that. I really miss that. And I'm so happy that I'm still have enough health to do that.
It's still
And that's
no
a game
one-
you can play for a long time. Now
Yeah.
imagine football, the intensity it requires
Right.
within yourself to suit up every week and play football.
And
And then
that's
how do you even begin to mimic that?
Yeah, where do you get the
Like you have to
competition
like
rush
enlist in the
again?
army.
And,
or
and
something.
football stands alone. I mean,
Right.
I can still play softball. I can play men's pickup hockey. You can go play soccer. I mean, you can play tennis. Like
And I've told you guys this story.
Flag
That's
football?
why high school football, Thanksgiving Day, and I never thought it was going to affect me watching my son the last game of the year the way it did, and he wasn't even eligible to play. His arm was broken at the time, because 95% of the kids that play will never play football again. Real foot. They're not going to put on the pads. One of Will's really good friends, one of the captains of the team, is a kid who I happen to coach a lot in
Play for the
Peabody.
Shamrocks, Paul?
No. This is
Marlboro
this is
Shamrocks?
this is the last
I
this is the
remember
last
that. I
game
went to
of
one
the
of those
year.
games.
Thanksgiving. This is the last game that he ever played. He's walking around and I'm standing with his father. He comes over. He goes, "I don't want to take my helmet off." And he goes, "Why?" He goes, "I'm never going to put it back on again."
Yeah.
And it's absolutely right. I watched the same thing with my nephew who did play 4 years in college, and he had his helmet in his head. I told you that story. We tailgated after his last game when they got knocked out of the playoffs, and he was just carrying his helmet around. He goes, "I'm never going to put this helmet on again." And like basketball, I'm going to play games forever at the Y. individual sports, golf, you could play those forever.
Well, maybe
you can't play football.
Maybe
now.
we misspoke because yesterday I saw some pictures on the internet of a certain duo in some football jerseys out on the field that apparently your football career did continue.
One word.
With Andy.
Dominant.
Yeah. Check those out.
Some great picks.
Big Head and Paul and Patriots jersey playing, was it touch or flag?
Yeah, what
here?
was that, Fred? Because
was-
Paul doesn't
That was
seem
the
to
media
recall.
day, wasn't it?
It was a media game
Yeah.
that we had.
When
but
did that end?
When everybody
would
got too old.
Pay to see that today.
She's all cocky. She's
Steve
ready to go.
Burton was
I'm ready to suit up.
Steve Burton quarterback.
Steve
and-
Burton could play, though. That was the
Yeah.
difference. We had like Zoe and Burton one year playing quarterback for each team, and that was a little different.
Not bad.
You're a quarterback. You must have been third string. You're
I-
like, what the hell?
Yeah,
I can't
I had to catch passes that year. But I really don't remember. I remember the first time we did it, and Fred will remember, it's the first ever game at CMGI Field, Fred.
Oh, yeah?
And we all had practice jerseys. We had the blue and the white practice jerseys. That's how we divided it up. This, I don't remember putting on like a replica game jersey. I know that's not an authentic game jersey, but Big Head had the Richard Seymour, and I had, of course, Tom Brady.
I said to Paul, how did Andy not have 44, and how did he not somehow get a neck roll on?
Right.
Like I just feel like that's Andy specific. But I remember a media game that you guys got trounced by like Jacksonville or something.
Yes.
Like in training camp.
I wasn't involved in
No,
that.
I would think it was the Saints media.
Saints.
Yeah, embarrassing.
Yeah.
I
could tell you
I
the
di-
individuals involved
I didn't
in
play
that.
in the game,
Yeah.
thankfully,
The
but
so-called young
I was
guys.
All of a sudden, you guys weren't part of this.
I was
one.
embarrassed to call these people my colleagues, losing to guys from the Saints.
I remember
If you knew who was playing, you'd understand why we got killed.
I remember
oh,
one
yeah, I
highlight.
forgot Drew Brees was playing that day.
No. For the media, for our media.
That's what I'm talking about.
If you knew who was on our team, you'd know why they got killed.
Yeah, it was awful.
Well, I remember a highlight.
We were all in here, Fred.
and I remember thinking, wow, Tommy Curran can actually scoot. Like he has some speed to
Tom's
him.
a decent athlete. He's
Yeah.
a pretty good basketball player,
Yeah.
actually, and he's a pretty good golfer too.
yeah, I know he still plays basketball.
I remember he caught a pass and ran away, but same thing. So auto QB for any of these media games. But we should bring that back. I think we got some athletes here in
Not
the.
me.
But that was fine. Andy, that was funny that he put that photo because Mike Reese started it by just putting a random photo of all of us sitting around watching a.
Michael Davis Smith, Felger.
It wasn't Michael
Oh,
David
sorry,
Smith.
who is it?
was
Michael-
Michael
Mike-
Smith.
Michael Smith.
Sorry.
Different person.
Yeah, Shane Donaldson.
Shane
Andy
Donaldson,
Hart.
Brian Morey,
Yeah,
Michael Felger,
Yeah.
actually on the beat. So that had to be like 03-ish,
Yeah.
04.
yeah,
Long time ago.
yeah. So
Bring it
Evidently,
back.
it was the last day off I've ever had because I was not in the picture.
I told Paul there's somebody crammed in between, and I zoomed in on the legs. Didn't look like Paul's legs. Not that I
Do
studied.
you
your
imagine he
legs.
said that to me? I zoomed in on the legs. It didn't look like your legs.
Right.
At least Fred looked at the sneakers to see if he could recognize the sneakers.
Right.
Which is what I did.
Well, I don't know what sneakers
You
you're wearing,
creep.
Jack.
You're
It's
checking
20
out
years-
my stems.
Deuce has always been a leg guy
I am
anyway.
That's
yeah.
100%
Are those Paul's
true.
calves?
100%.
I don't know.
He didn't
likes-
look like Paul's calves.
He likes those games.
Well, that was pre torn Achilles, so I actually had a calf.
you had some.
I had a calf then.
That's why you didn't recognize
Yeah,
him.
we've done a lot of training camps now together. I know what he looks like in shorts. I know what those.
There's
things
no
look like.
Unfortunately,
There's no
I also
scar.
know what half these guys' toes look like. What's the deal with
Oh,
the flip flops at training
Felger,
camp?
I
Felger
noticed
had
that
flip-flops
wearing
that
flip-flops.
day.
Not just Felger.
Oh, Giardi.
Many,
Giardi
at
little-
least
Phil,
5.
Phil,
Giardi-
Phil is a flip flop.
Giardi literally puts a beach towel down. He's getting the sunscreen and the lotion.
Yeah.
So why did
Little
flip-flops bother
radio.
you?
It's
Because they don't take care of their
men's
feet.
toes. I'm with
Men's
you,
toes
Alex.
are
Men's toes,
disgusting. At
so they
least
should remain
get a
hidden.
like-
See now,
As someone who
I
has
take
a pair,
offense to that as someone who has
I don't-
perfectly
adequate in their
Well, if-
adequate and adequacy feet.
Yeah, you were
If you
blessed with
take
good
care of
feet.
your feet, I give you permission to wear flip flops to training camp.
Well, I don't wear flip flops to training camp because I don't think it's professional, but not
I would
because
agree.
not
That's
because
why
my
I'm
toes
complaining.
are not because my toes are unkempt.
Yeah. No, but you're right.
So weird.
Men really do let their
cover
toes
them
go.
up. Cover them up.
Yeah.
Cover 'em up. I mean, some people have nice ones, like very rarely.
What about flip flops on a plane?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I saw a tweet go so viral the other day. A woman was talking about how the man next to her was cutting his toenails on the plane, and
And
one landed on
one
her. Matt
landed
saw
on
that.
her.
too.
I
Yeah.
hear stories about that all the time, and I always think that they're lies.
They could be. You know.
Like
Yeah.
no one does that, right?
But
No one
there's
does.
some-
Someone
I-
really do
There's
that?
wacky people out there.
I took
though.
a red eye back from Vegas one time, and I sat next to this couple, older couple. This lady, for at least an hour, took her credit card and picked her teeth. Oh. Like, click, click. And I was like, oh, this is freaking disgusting.
That's been
Like, she's
everywhere.
cl-
You're like running
she's-
that thing through
She's
every.
picking her teeth with her
Like
credit
flip
card.
flops on a plane to me is not something I would want to be doing. Like, let alone I'm grossing other people out. But like planes, like to me, are like gross.
Yeah. Plus, if you have to
wouldn't wanna
evacuate,
wear-
you don't want to
Get
wear
off the
flip-flops.
plane,
Yeah.
instant shower.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to wear flip-flops on a plane.
Yeah.
Flip-flops on a plane. Yeah, I mean, unless you're like going
Snakes on a plane,
Phoenix
you
to
got flip-flops
Vegas,
on a
you know,
plane.
like it's like a 20-minute, like, hey, I'm going somewhere warm to somewhere
there's
warm.
something to be said in a long flight of taking your shoes off because your feet do like swell up a little. When
Do you do that?
I take my shoes. I have socks on.
I don't do that.
I'll take my shoes off.
Wow, you're getting the.
I don't have
You're
smelly
getting
feet.
the visual finger whack from
See,
Alex
I
right
think-
I'm
now.
just intrigued.
Alex,
I'm
I
interested.
think you'd like my feet. By the way.
Okay. We'll see when training camp runs around.
No,
We'll do a ranking of the Patriots.
I
media
will not be
corps.
participating.
I've always had good feet.
Really?
Yeah, I actually had a girl in college. Like,
Is this Dean
like,
Blandino
that was
on the,
obsessed with my
Sports Hub?
feet.
That means you take care of yourself.
Yeah,
That's
well,
what they say.
Yeah.
We could check in my wife. She says I have crab toes because they're like
Crab
real,
toe-
they're like long and bendy.
Yeah.
If you care about your feet and the cleanliness of your shoes, you take good care of yourself.
What about
That's
people
what
that were
the-
just
the-
born with, say, long toes that are
I
kind
have
of
long
bony?
toes. I can understand that.
But are they clean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just
oh,
keep 'em
yeah.
clean.
Oh yeah, I clean them, but you know.
TJ smell like Haymarket on like a
Ooh.
on like a Saturday morning.
Oh. Yeah, that would happen to me when I got to my freshman year at Holy Cross. My roommate had he's one of those people who never wore socks, so that just destroy. I mean, now
You destroy sneakers.
I'd be like,
Yeah.
dude,
I can't do it just for that
You
reason.
got to put your shoes outside. Like you're sticking up the whole.
oh yeah,
Like you got to wear
it's
socks.
just not right. It's just not right.
Can you imagine how many harumps Evan would have had by now if he was part of this show?
Shoes.
Speaking of him, he's not joining us.
He
today?
will. He'll be for
Later.
the.
He's
come
coming
for
by
the-
later. He's got a little catch-22 coming later.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
All right, 855-PATS-500 is the Ace Ticket Hotline. Web radio at patriots.com is the email address. Oh, by the way, I'm just watching on TV, NBC Sports. They're at Radio Row. I do think Radio Row is more active than it's been over the last few years.
I believe, I mean, I take this with a grain of
'Cause of
salt,
COVID?
but I believe that they have tweeted out, Brian McCarthy
Yeah.
said it's the most Radio Row credentials they've given out.
Yeah, but
Ever.
like decent guests, like decent people are walking through. You know, like they got Dean Blandino on right now. That's a good get. you know?
Especially in the aftermath
Yeah.
of the commissioner yesterday saying, quote, officiating has never
Best
been
year
better.
ever.
Woof.
Yeah, and he's got good hair, by the way, Dean Blandino.
He does have good hair.
Yeah, that's.
I'm jealous.
Yeah.
Much like me in the picture with the Tom Brady shirt on.
All right,
I didn't have good hair then either, but it was at least
You
existing.
had it.
let's get to the phones. Patty's in Agawam on the Ace Ticket Hotline. What's up, Patty?
Hey everyone, how you doing, everyone? This Thursday,
Okay.
Fabulous.
right? I wanted to throw a couple takes out there on wide receivers, and the first one I can't take credit for. I heard Derek Haven from Pats fans say this, and I thought it was a really good point on DeAndre Hopkins, not just the age and the fact that he's not like the fastest guy, but last year he did get a PED suspension, and if let's say we were to trade for him, and if he got popped again, I mean that would be it. He'd be done for the season, and that would pretty much put us in sort of the same bind that we're in right now. And my second take is, I know, Paul, you were talking about how you didn't want another one of these like slot machine guys, and to me, I don't care. I don't care who they are. I mean, we've seen over the past 20-plus years great pass catchers come in all shapes and sizes. I mean, I don't care if it's a running back, a third down back, a big tight end like Grunt, not like Grunt. But
Get
like
open
in
and
that,
catch
that
it.
sort of mold. I just want somebody that can get open and get some yak. I want the guy that on third down in the red zone, goal-to-go situation, the ball's going there. The entire stadium, the defense, they know the ball's going there, and he can't stop it. And that's the guy I want. I don't know if he exists, if we can get him this offseason, but that's who I want. That's all I got, guys.
All right.
Talk to you next week.
Thanks, Patty.
Well,
Appreciate it.
Somebody awesome.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Jerry's in L.A. Hey, Jerry.
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 I love when we get to do
Hello.
that.
Jerry.
Hello.
Turn your internet
right.
down.
Call back if you can. Spee's in Fresno. What's up, Spee?
Some good off-season plane hygiene talk.
Yeah.
Yep.
We've all been there.
It's good. I mean, I'm concerned though. Like if I take my shoes off, maybe I'm like the last person to know how bad my feet smell. Sometimes you don't really know.
Oh, you know.
That's usually the
Come on, you
case.
know.
You're usually a little desensitized to your own stench.
That's true.
I don't know what foot odor, though.
Exactly. It's a concern.
Yeah. I don't know.
But Paul was on Andy's show and talking about he said the myth of the hometown discount idea, and I was kind of curious about your guys' ideas about that because Paul, you brought up Mahomes. Mahomes is like, according to Over the Cap, he's like 8th or something in cash spent this year. So I think that's the trend where it's just like the Super Bowl winning he hasn't won it this year, but they tend to not be like taking the most money.
We're not serious about this, are we?
What do you mean? They're like 70% of the Super Bowl winning quarterbacks since '91 have been outside the top 5 in the cash.
Oh, okay. So we're just going to move the number around. So never mind. I'm not going to get into this.
Go ahead.
He's one of the highest paid players in the entire league.
Yeah.
A quarterback position, though, I'm talking about.
So who cares? He got $63 million when he signed. Like,
okay,
he's not like on a discount. He's not on a discount. His salary now is going to look better because he signed two years ago,
right?
3 years ago now, whatever.
You could argue that that's the strategy. You could argue that that's the strategy.
No, but you're going to argue with me that you can't win because you do that. That's what the people that Andy and I were talking about against at the time. Like Ben Volen was suggesting that you don't need to pay your quarterback big money. I would argue that Patrick Mahomes makes big money. I don't care what it is on the stratosphere of 1, 2. That all that matters is the date that you sign the contract.
You don't need to pay your quarterback big money, but if you have Patrick Mahomes, you need to pay him big money.
No, but what
if
I'm
your
saying,
quarterback is elite, you're going to have to pay him.
In order to win, I think you need to have an elite quarterback. And in order to have an elite quarterback, you have to pay him elite money.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
I completely agree with that. I completely agree with that with the one qualification that these guys who tend to win, they tend to take just a little bit less. They're super highly paid, but they take a little dip. It just tends to happen.
Okay. Whatever makes you sleep better. I don't. I mean,
I'm sorry. The numbers are numbers.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, the numbers aren't numbers. He's one of the highest paid players in the entire league. Like if he's not number one, it's because he signed his contract 2 years ago.
Yeah, I mean when Josh
Deshaun Watson now is number one. No,
right,
240 whatever million guaranteed.
When Joe Burrow signs his next contract,
he's going to be number one.
He's going to be number one,
or at least like in the top 3.
Yeah.
He might not. These guys might not get Watson money.
And if
Watson might turn out to be an outlier.
And if Mahomes got $63 million cash 2 years ago,
and that was probably, and to Spee's point, that was probably a little low. Well, he probably could have gotten more.
But Burrow's probably going to get 80 in cash. Yeah. It doesn't go down.
My only point is, but yeah, I think Spee's right. Some of these guys can take a little less, and certainly Tom never banged the table to get the absolute most.
He did 2 times.
But he was always among the highest paid players in the league. It's a misnomer to say you can't win if you pay your quarterback X. That's all I'm saying.
I agree with that. I mean, I just said we're on the same page ultimately. I mean, Tom only did it twice. It was like 03 and 16, like that he was top 5. And the top 5 thing is a bit of an arbitrary thing. It's just
correct. That's my only point, Spee. I don't mean to yell at you because you're my boy.
I love it if Jalen Hurts wins this year. It's like, you see?
No. They could absolutely win.
Yeah.
They could absolutely win. Just like San Francisco could have won if they didn't get decimated.
Yeah.
Again, I have the depth chart. I can tell you why San Francisco could have won.
But it's not about just winning a Super Bowl because any team it's about being consistently an elite team in the league. Consistently having double-digit wins and being in the.
Because I think Fred's absolutely right. Any team can catch lightning in a bottle and win it once.
Right.
But in order to be really good, you have to be really good. Yeah. And in order to, if you're going to be really good, more than likely,
year after year,
you're making a lot of money.
Yeah, and you have to have that great quarterback. You just have to.
And this was
whether it's Roethlisberger, Brady, Peyton Manning over that period of time, and now it's Mahomes, Josh Allen. It's going to be Joe Burrow. You have to have that great quarterback.
Like people would make the argument, and I'm not saying
Spee.
I'm not saying Spee is doing this, but people would make the argument that Buffalo went from the AFC Championship game. And they took a step back this year. Right. Like I would say that's utter nonsense.
They're in the mix. Yeah.
But that can happen.
But they would say because Josh Allen makes too much money now.
No. That's not why.
No.
Yeah.
And I would say what a year for Patrick Mahomes to say, I'm worth every dime that you paid me 2
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah, and
because
aren't
he
you
leaves
glad you
Tyreek
paid
Hill.
me?
And
Right.
I think that this is one of those things, and why I always come off as the old curmudgeon with spreadsheets. Like, you can make a spreadsheet do whatever you want. Like, you can tell me that Patrick Mahomes is 8, so that proves your point. I would say it backs up my point. He's one of the highest paid players in the entire league. He's making a huge percentage of the salary cap that some teams would refuse to do. This one might be one of them, right? What was the number that Robert Kraft used to be quoted as saying? You don't want your quarterback making more than 16%, 17% of the cap. Now, some of those numbers may be different now as the cap continues to rise. But that was a long-held line of thought among some in the league.
Yeah. But
And certainly Patrick Mahomes is making a bigger percentage of the cap than, what do you want to say, 28 out of the 32 teams?
Yeah.
I don't care what his actual money is.
In this league, if you have a great quarterback or a great coach, you pay them. You do whatever it takes to keep them.
You know? And you know what I mean by the money. Like, you can do whatever you want with the cap.
Yeah.
But I think I read something. He got $63 million just to sign. I don't think a lot of teams want to do that. But in order to be good, you got to do that. Yeah. Like, if you have Joe Burrow, you're going to say, I can't give him $63 million to sign. If you're the Chargers, you might never win, but it's not going to be because you paid Justin Herbert too much money. It's going to be because Justin Herbert couldn't get you over the top. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
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 Like, do you think Buffalo fell short because they weren't talented enough?
No.
So, like, what does the cap have to do with anything? What does the money that Josh Allen has to do with anything?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm distracted here because Malcolm Butler's on Beetle and Zoe, and the Chiron is what happened in Super Bowl 52, but we can't hear it. Looks like he's hawking some merch now, too, so he's out there making the rounds.
Yeah, and, like, I didn't mean to, snap back at speed, because that's more of a snapback at this tired, old, like, it's 2003, and you have to have, like, your money spread across, like, all 53 guys. Like, that's not the way it's done anymore. You don't have to do it that way anymore. The cap is too big. It's going to be $225 million next year.
I see
Phil.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I just said Phil Perry talked to Malcolm Butler, and he said he still wants to play in 2023. He's working on a documentary and a book. May get a few tidbits on Super Bowl 51.
Oh,
so,
okay.
The big question.
Let's see. David is in Iowa. Hey, David.
Hey.
Hey.
Guys, long-time listener and never called in before, so first-time caller.
Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah. So I had a few things. I've been listening since, 2004, where earlier in the season you guys were trying to, describe how the defense works, or offense and defense, where, defense plays like a rock band. So if someone messes up, it doesn't screw everything up necessarily, where offense plays like a symphony, where when one guy's off, you hear it.
Okay.
And it's,
Yeah.
I don't think I'd agree with that. I mean, I think
trying to,
defense
come
is.
up with-
Did you guys do this on a show that I wasn't a part of or something? I don't remember this.
No, you were all part of it.
It's a good analogy. I like it.
I don't.
I don't agree with it. I think defense if you get one guy who doesn't maintain the correct leverage, it's. I think it's all kind of connected on both sides of the ball and on special teams.
I kind of agree with Mike. I
think, how many times in special teams do you look and you're like,
but
this guy who was L2 came in too quick and the crease opened
But
up.
I think the difference with defense and offense is sometimes you can make up for a mistake on defense with hustle.
If you've got
but
guys,
don't you think
way
that's
more
true on
offense
all aspects? Like, let's say
Well, I think on offense it's a little bit more. You have to be on the same page, or you can hustle all you want, but if you're running the wrong way,
I think you can make an argument that, like, on offense, everybody does their job, but the left tackle just whiffs on his block and the quarterback gets sacked.
Right.
But isn't it just as easy to say everybody does their job, the left tackle whiffs on his block and the quarterback makes a miss and throws a touchdown?
Yeah. I mean, I think
Like,
there
I
was.
mean, we've seen both of those things happen how many times?
You can make up for it.
You
And
might
I think
have-
it's true on both sides. I'm with Mike on this.
I mean, you might
I
have a
hate
little
it.
bit more
being with
leeway
you.
on the defensive side of the, because the quarterback just doesn't see that this guy blew his coverage, or but to Paul's point, I think if you have a playmaker, sometimes they offset those mistakes.
And that's when me and Mike get mad when the quarterback's running around just
just stay in the pocket like a normal
that's what
person.
Mahomes does so well. That's why I think they're going to be in trouble on Sunday.
So David, did you have a question off of that, or did you just want to remind us?
No, I was just wanting to throw that out there, and then I was going to throw out there that I'm a Mac Jones Patriots fan. I think he's not the guy. He's not going to be the guy. He never was the guy. And not that I was sold on that. Zappy showed a lot more tempo and just natural instinct. So that's why I was like, I would have just kept riding him until, it really fell apart.
Yeah.
What do you think happens with Mac
And
this
then-
year with Bill O'Brien?
I don't think he gets any better. I think as a whole, it'll look nicer. Like, I think Mac Jones is like nice trash, where,
Wow.
Bailey Zappi is like probably keep him.
You're breaking
phone
up.
keeps
Dave.
going in and
Yeah,
out.
sorry about that.
Good call, though.
David in Iowa, call back.
There's a perfect example of a call I really didn't agree much with, but I think was an excellent call.
Don't
Spark
call
some
today,
combo.
but call back to the show. All right, we're going to take a break. Paul needs to eat. We'll be right back after this.
Verizon, the network America relies on, and the official 5G network of the New England Patriots. Patriot Place is the region's #1 shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Shop your favorites, including Vineyard Vines, Express, Olympia Sports, Petco, and more. Enjoy dining at one of our 19 restaurants, including 6 String Grill and Stage, Scorpion Bar, and Bar Louie. And don't forget about the entertainment. Explore your inner artist at Muse Paint Bar, watch a movie at Showcase Cinema Deluxe, or grab a controller and start gaming at Helix Esports. For a complete directory listing, please visit patriot-place.com.
How did Verizon build the fastest 5G in the world? We started by building it right with 5G Ultra Wideband. Then we gave it massive capacity and near zero lag. And it's not just fast, it's 25 times faster than today's 4G networks. This is 5G built right from the network more people rely on, only on Verizon. 5G Ultra Wideband available only in parts of select cities. Global claim based on open signal independent analysis. 25 times analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q2 2020.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
Oh no.
replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Some people are never content with simply being good. Not when they can be great. But it takes a big step to get there. In fact, it takes a leap of faith, a belief in what you're striving toward, and a willingness to make the commitment, day in and day out, to something bigger than yourself. Putnam is proud to partner with those who share their own commitment to performance excellence. This is Matt Light for Putnam Investments, a world of investing.
There's no season better than football season. And there's no better place to get in on all of the action than with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy sports partner of the New England Patriots. To add to the thrill, DraftKings has millions of dollars in prizes up for grabs every week. So head to the app now and check it out. If you haven't tried it yet, fantasy football is easy to play. Just pick 9 players, stay under the salary cap, and pile up points for yards, touchdowns, receptions, and so much more. There's no better way to put your football knowledge to the test than to compete for a shot at $1 million in total prizes. Download the DraftKings app now and use promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week. That's promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week, only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Patriots fans, you'll want to check out the replay on this one. Pat the Patriot is stealing the show tonight with his Bank of America mobile banking app.
That's right, folks. So here we see Pat cheering, and then whammo! Is that Bank of America life plan?
Looks like he's saving up for some big future moves. Planning the next vacay, huh, big guy?
And wait, now he's paying back his buddy for concessions using Zelle? No penalty there. Incredible!
No way! As if that double move wasn't impressive enough, now he's beefing up his account defense with security meter? Holy cannoli, what a performance!
Bank of America's digital tools are so impressive, Patriot fans just can't stop banking. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/banking. You must be enrolled in online banking or download the latest version of the mobile banking app, only available on select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. Terms and conditions apply. Member FDIC.
Want to get into the game? Get coached up at Dean College. Equipped with exclusive academic partnerships featuring the Patriots, Revolution, Providence Bruins, summer baseball, and more, our classrooms are set up for success by learning directly from the pros. Dean College has programs in communications, sports management, business, and marketing with unprecedented hands-on experiences. Our students take what they learn in the classroom and put it right to work in the marketplace. At Dean College, our students don't just play games, we run them. Visit us at dean.edu.
Verizon, the network America relies on, and the official 5G network of the New England Patriots. Patriot Place is the region's #1 shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Shop your favorites, including Vineyard Vines, Express, Olympia Sports, Petco, and more. Enjoy dining at one of our 19 restaurants, including 6 String Grill and Stage, Scorpion Bar, and Bar Louie. And don't forget about the entertainment. Explore your inner artist at Muse Paint Bar, watch a movie at Showcase Cinema Deluxe, or grab a controller and start gaming at Helix eSports. For a complete directory listing, please visit patriot-place.com.
How did Verizon build the fastest 5G in the world? We started by building it right with 5G ultra wideband. Then we gave it massive capacity and near zero lag. And it's not just fast, it's 25 times faster than today's 4G networks. This is 5G built right from the network more people rely on, only on Verizon. 5G ultra wideband available only in parts of select cities. Global claim based on open signal independent analysis. 25 times analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q2 2020.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
Oh no.
replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Some people are never content with simply being good. Not when they can be great. But it takes a big step to get there. In fact, it takes a leap of faith, a belief in what you're striving toward, and a willingness to make the commitment, day in and day out, to something bigger than yourself. Putnam is proud to partner with those who share their own commitment to performance excellence. This is Matt Light for Putnam Investments, a world of investing.
There's no season better than football season. And there's no better place to get in on all of the action than with DraftKings, the official daily fantasy sports partner of the New England Patriots. To add to the thrill, DraftKings has millions of dollars in prizes up for grabs every week. So head to the app now and check it out. If you haven't tried it yet, fantasy football is easy to play. Just pick 9 players, stay under the salary cap, and pile up points for yards, touchdowns, receptions, and so much more. There's no better way to put your football knowledge to the test than to compete for a shot at $1 million in total prizes. Download the DraftKings app now and use promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week. That's promo code PATS to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes every week, only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
Patriots fans, you'll want to check out the replay on this one. Pat the Patriot is stealing the show tonight with his Bank of America mobile banking app.
That's right, folks. So here we see Pat cheering, and then whammo! Is that Bank of America life plan?
Looks like he's saving up for some big future moves. Planning the next vacay, huh, big guy?
And wait, now he's paying back his buddy for concessions using Zelle? No penalty there. Incredible.
No way! As if that double move wasn't impressive enough, now he's beefing up his account defense with security meter? Holy cannoli, what a performance!
Bank of America's digital tools are so impressive, Patriot fans just can't stop banking. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/banking. You must be enrolled in online banking or download the latest version of the mobile banking app, only available on select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. Terms and conditions apply. Member FDIC.
Want to get into the game? Get coached up at Dean College. Equipped with exclusive academic partnerships featuring the Patriots, Revolution, Providence Bruins, summer baseball, and more, our classrooms are set up for success by learning directly from the pros. Dean College has programs in communications, sports management, business, and marketing with unprecedented hands-on experiences. Our students take what they learn in the classroom and put it right to work in the marketplace. At Dean College, our students don't just play games, we run them. Visit us at dean.edu.
And now, great moments in history.
She had one where she was talking smack about Drew Bledsoe. I'll send that to you.
Oh, now it's on.
Now it's
What?
now it's
on.
now it's definitely a thing. No, but all I saw like Megan had like 100 different
Scream
clips of her just
compilation.
screaming.
No.
But they had just won. Like, what is she supposed to do?
Not
Go to the
post it.
library?
Face. Oh.
Face.
Wow, now it's her face.
Oh, I just Schadenfreude. I just want her to lose.
I'm sorry, what was that word?
She's the girlfriend, not the wife.
How's it say?
Schadenfreude.
I was going to say, he went 0 for 2. He said it 2 different ways. Neither one of them was correct.
Schadenfrocken.
All right. What?
That's another great moment from
All right. Welcome back to Patriots Unfiltered. Deuce, Alex, Paul, myself, Matt in the booth.
Freddie, I find myself really enjoying the rejoins.
Yeah.
When Eric chimes in.
Yeah.
And Mike just had the perfect facial expression for Mike, you want to do it?
Schadenfreude.
Right.
The nose.
Right.
Fred looks, he goes, how do you pronounce it?
And probably what he said isn't 100% right
Schadenfreude.
either. That's the whole thing.
Well,
But it's
so
just
in Germany, that's how they say it, Fred. So I don't.
Well, what part of Germany?
He's like the therapist on those. Like,
Germany has
Xfinity
different dialects
commercials.
too. Yeah.
Just like we changed our internet provider.
Yeah.
Sniff the cork, man.
Well, I do have someone who wrote in about that, about the cork.
The cork sniffing?
Yeah, but I think. Chad wrote in.
Chad.
He says, why the cork is presented to you when you order wine. We had a big debate that you don't really sniff it, and he was telling Eric. Anyway, Chad writes in, I knew this for years, but not to the level and depth this article goes. If the cork is stained, the wine is not good. It has nothing to do with smell. Eric is wrong. I repeat, Eric is wrong. So
You gotta just keep
you look
smelling
at
it now.
you look at the cork, and if it's stained, then it's a possibility that the wine has gone bad. You don't need to smell it.
I feel like we've gotten a few different authoritative emails that come in and are like but they've gone
Both
both
ways.
Yeah. And was he team sniff? Or
Yeah.
Team no sniff?
Yeah.
Team everything
Team
that
sniff.
everybody else is.
Because
not.
when he gets it, of course he doesn't know what he's doing.
See, I thought you were supposed to just get the glass. You put the wine in the glass.
Sift it
you
around.
swift it around.
Smell it.
You watch the way it rolls
If you remember,
back down
Eric had
on the inside of
sommeliers
the
tell him
glass.
the
Isn't
proper
that a
way.
thing?
Yeah, but that
The body
has
or whatever?
to do also with if the glass is clean or not. Because dirty glasses, if it's not cleaned properly, you'll get a lot more.
This is why
residue.
I want her on the show all the time.
But also you want to look at the cork. Like if there's like a piece missing, then
Yeah,
that's
the
in your
integrity
wine.
of the cork too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Clock.
Yeah.
Plus, with that nose he's got, he
I
can
had
get
a
right
little.
in there.
I had a
We should
little
get a
wine the other night.
sommelier on to get the final answer.
Which totally seems like BS to me. Like when I first learned about that, when I was in California, about like this guy Larry Stuckey, who was a writer, was telling me his brother is a sommelier, and I'm like, and I had no idea what they were, and he explained it to me, and I'm like, that can't be real. Like you can't tell me that. And this is somebody who has no knowledge of wine. Like it's
Which
either
makes
red or
perfect
white.
sense that Eric wanted to be that, right?
Right.
Was it a sommelier?
Sommelier.
It's got to be the most
Sommelier.
pretentious, snobby profession
Yes.
that exists, right?
Right. And there's a picture of Eric right next to him.
I'm sorry, like maybe my taste buds are underdeveloped, but like wine, it's like you're in a very narrow like how different it tastes to me. Like I can like kind of like some of them are a little bit more bitter than others, but otherwise I'm like I can't detect any notes of anything. Like
there was
notes
a great
of vanilla.
long form piece. I don't know who to credit to, but it was definitely The Athletic or ESPN. But they talked about how like NBA players are running out of stuff to flaunt their wealth with, so they just all become these wine collectors. So like Carmelo Anthony is like training to be a sommelier, and like Kevin Love and LeBron James drink like
There's no question
tens
LeBron
of
is one of
thousands
these
of
guys.
dollars of wine a month.
Right.
Yeah.
And no one can
How many books do you think LeBron's read the first page of?
0.
No, just the first page. I'm saying just the first page.
When's the last time you opened a book?
Yeah, probably right.
Read 3 books tonight.
I had a little vino at my blue hair
The red,
special
the white?
dinner the other
Vino,
night. A little white.
I
Pinot.
think if
White
you-
with steak?
I think
I
if you
did, well,
do,
I let Beth pick. I was like, whatever you want. She's like, well, I want
Get
a
a bottle.
Pinot. I go, all right. I wasn't going to say, can you pick one out for me? Like, because we just.
I think
we had a
if
couple of
you
glasses.
do drink a lot of wine, you start to develop
Well, I'm sure
a
you
taste
would.
for it.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
mean,
I'm sure you
I
would.
don't know.
I
I'm pretty
just-
old. I've been drinking. I mean, not.
You drink
every
a lot of
night.
wine?
No.
Alex,
It
you
tears
do.
my stomach up.
I don't drink a lot, but if I'm going to drink, it's probably going to be like a glass of Cabernet.
Yeah, it has to be like a millennial. Like, I'm home from work. I'm exhausted. Where's my wine?
I'll tell you, if you like
Right?
cab,
You do it.
I do sometimes, but like
Just
I'm
like- she
Portuguese.
just
I
gave-
grew up
she
like
just gave me the
stomping
look that Beth
grapes
gives
with my
me.
grandparents barefoot, like trying the wine at 10. So
if
it's
you like
like a
cab-
different culture.
if you like Cabernet, Drew Bledsoe makes a good one.
So I've heard.
Double
Yeah,
back.
double really good.
Matter
Really
of fact,
good.
I could probably give you a bottle if you want.
I'll take it
Not-
off your hands.
Humble brag.
Not the family one, the double back. There's 2 different
Double
ones.
back.
Yeah, but
That's
no,
what I have.
but double back is like
It's a cab.
yeah, but he also has a family cab that he does, which is less expensive, and it's still good. But the double back one is the best. That's like
I thought I was doing the humble brag. Fred is giving you the differentiations between the
oh no,
the
'cause
different
I've had
types
both.
that
I've had
Drew
both.
has.
What about $2 Chuck? Remember that was a huge thing, like, I don't know, 15 years ago with
$2
Trader
Chuck.
Joe's. Charles Shaw, they have like $2 wine at Trader Joe's that everyone claims
Yeah,
is pretty good.
it wasn't that
Boone's
bad.
Farm,
Does
Boone's
it, come in,
Farm.
does it come in a box?
Well, I saw a guy walking around Trader Joe's a couple weeks ago. I was like, oh, I guess $2 Chuck is still a thing.
Wow. Let's see. Isaac from Winnipeg writes in. He says, wanted to chime in on the last episode. Thank God for Evan. I feel just as heartbroken as him. Watching Brady as a Buck was one of the worst sights ever. I don't care if the Patriots or him were to blame. As a fan, it was terrible. About the one-day contract, I am absolutely against it. If he wanted to retire as a Patriot, he could have stayed here. It may sound ungrateful, but we as fans stood up for him every time. I hated the divorce so much, I even gave my mother-in-law my number 12 jersey, upgraded for a number 11 Edelman. True loyalty. Keep up the good work, guys. Love hearing you on my long winter drives.
What's the name on that email?
Winnipeg?
Yeah, Isaac from Winnipeg.
Yeah, it must have been really hard for Isaac to have to defend Tom Brady all those years. That was
Yeah.
a tough job.
Well, the Deflategate he's probably talking about.
Yeah, it's just tough.
Rusty in Ireland says...
Six titles in 20 years. You had to talk and said, no, Deflategate was no big deal. Ah, what a burden.
Rusty in Ireland
What a
says,
burden in life.
I really like Evan's addition to the show so far, but I got to disagree with him here. Just want to remind everyone that none of us played a down or have really done anything that suggests Brady owes us some of his success. A lot of fans were ready to move on from him in 2020 as well after the traumatizing 12-4 season, Deuce.
Yep.
Still don't see a lot of fans upset about letting him go, even though the post-Brady era has not gone well, especially since, in my opinion, the team pushed him away more than he left, and fans are still trying to act like it was 50-50. Thanks for all that you do. I look forward to the shows more than watching the games sometime. There you go.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, people are split.
And I get the reaction that, like, the fan reaction. This is something I disagree with. Like that, the first caller Evan on Tuesday. But I understand it. I understand why someone would say, why is he talking like this now? Why did he leave? But
Yeah.
I don't look at it that way. But I understand why others do. Even though Fred doesn't agree with it either. But
yeah,
if it was me that said that he owes me more than that, I think he and I would have had a 45-minute knockdown, drag-out fight. But
nobody owes you
evidently
anything,
it's a
Paul.
little different when there's new pets involved. Laugh! That was a genuine laugh I just got out of you.
Let's see. Austin writes in, top menu item for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, let's go.
It's my Guinness version of Guinness venison and beef Irish stew with
the
fresh
venison.
with fresh baked soda bread on top of a bed of mashed potatoes. I made this last year and it was such a success. I've been told to have to make it again. Another tradition for me is a party-sized bag of M&Ms that I normally do not share.
Oh.
Have you ever had soda bread?
Yeah.
It's freaking awful.
Yeah. It's dry. And,
Yeah,
and,
it's terrible.
yeah, I got to put a lot of butter on it.
Yeah.
Need
I
to
don't
soak
know.
up things.
I don't
I
know.
guess if it's with like a beef stew type situation, though, it might be nice.
Yeah.
I've never had venison.
All it does is soak it up. I mean, it's like it has no taste. It's terrible.
Yeah. What venison?
Church
Do you guys
bread?
ever eat venison?
I love
I have
had
had
elk.
venison.
No.
I have had
Phenomenal.
venison. It's good.
I've never.
So
is
good.
it, what
It's
is it like? Kind of like beef a little bit, or
Yeah.
that kind
Yeah,
of.
it's a little gamey, but it's good.
I hate that word.
Sorry.
It just turns me off. If you tell me something is gamey, I'm not going to eat it. I'm not going to try it. Like
I
a little
haven't had
gamey.
I haven't had a lot of it or anything like that. But I probably haven't had it in 20 years.
I mean, I have a lot of live deer around my house, so I don't know. Maybe I'll
My
look
dad's
into
a
that.
hunter. I love venison.
I'll get David Andrews to come over and.
Nice.
Phineas writes in.
What about Ferb?
And he's in Rhode Island. I just listened to Tuesday's show, which featured conversation about Chris Sims' propensity to button the top button of his college shirts.
Thank you. Yes.
The look is known as the air tie. Though its popularity has waned in recent
That
years,
makes sense.
there are still some air tie loyalists, such as Sims. To me, this is a lose-lose proposition, as it requires a formality and constriction of the workday collar without affording the opportunity to show off a nice double Windsor. To each his own.
That's my favorite all-time email right there.
Right.
I do like the email very, very much.
Where's Eric when you need him?
Wrong.
It was it was kind of a late '80s look too that I'm ashamed to say I
You might have
definitely
dabbled with
succumbed to
with your Z Cavaricis.
Even with that was more of an early '90s look.
Sorry.
Maybe with a little double champion turtleneck.
Oh, there
with
you
the
go.
sweatshirt
Yeah,
over
yeah,
it.
yeah. Right.
That's back.
Yeah, I know it's.
Neil
it's
writes
not
in.
good.
Neil from New Brunswick. Can we all just recognize the comedic genius that is Fred? Last week, when some bozo when some bozo called in the day after Brady retired to talk about Jordan Humphrey's playing time, he dropped the line, "They won't put his number in the stadium, just put Lil." I immediately burst out laughing in the middle of the grocery store, picturing a brightly lit Lil hanging in the lighthouse.
Why is that so funny?
That was a good solid Fredism.
Lil. Oh, Lil.
It's
What-
Lil.
what
Lil
could have been?
John.
What could have been?
Speaking of Lil, let's go to Will in Philem. What's up, William?
What's going on, Fred? How you doing?
All right.
I have a question for Alex, and the other one is for Paul. So, Alex, do you watch college football? I mean, do you know anything about as far as the draft and whatnot?
I don't really. I really don't get into college football until like the final 4 teams, and I'll watch the playoffs.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Sorry, William.
Paul, my question. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Hope you can forgive me.
Oh, of course, I heard. Definitely. Paul, not Paul. Yeah, Paul. My question is, so what do you think of the Patriots? I think it would be a dumb move though. But then again, I don't know. So we don't have nobody on the offense that you got the game plan for, correct?
Yeah, I think that's largely true right now. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So I hope this don't happen, but I can see it might happen. What if Bill take a running back in the first round again?
Oh God.
Bijan Robinson from Texas.
Please don't.
You know what I mean?
Don't do this to me.
Well, I don't think it changes. I mean,
You still don't have anybody to game plan for.
Right.
I mean, unless it's Derrick
Okay.
Henry.
He's a good player. I mean, listen, I know who Bijan Robinson. He's an excellent player. Is he going to go that high? Is that? I mean, I haven't looked.
I've seen some teams flirting with him,
Despite
like
the
the
fact that
Bills.
mock drafts are starting to become more and more popular in recent days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't really been keeping track of all the specific mock drafts this year yet because it's so early.
I've
But
seen him pop in, like Bills, low first round. I've seen him pop
I
in
like
around.
the player a lot. I just think there are so many more needs, and Fred knows, he makes fun of me all the time. Running backs, you're already talking. I saw something that Greg Bedard wrote. Not that he's the be-all, end-all, but, like Damian Harris is probably going to go somewhere now. You're already talking about you have 11 draft picks. Using one of your middle-round draft picks on a running back because
Pierre Strong and
Kevin Harris will be there to replace in the immediate, Damian Harris, but then Stevenson's going to go in 2 years. That's why I'm not really big on running backs. Like
that cycle's kind of established.
Even when they work, you're not really going to give them, unless it's a guy like McCaffrey.
Derrick Henry.
Oh yeah, Derrick
yeah.
Henry's a unicorn, but I mean like like an Alvin Kamara,
Right, like
a
a
guy who
weapon,
can run
a weapon.
and be a weapon in the passing game. McCaffrey, Barkley, but even then, I think they were wildly overdrafted. Kamara was taken in the second round.
And they get hurt a
right?
lot. Yeah.
He was a second round
Right.
pick, I think.
Yeah.
You know, McCaffrey and Barkley, those are top 10 picks. To me, that's a waste. That's as talented as those guys are. I just think you can get them later in the draft. And then,
But just go ahead.
no, that
I
was,
think
that
you
was,
need to
that's
get him
brilliant.
like San Francisco got him, where it's like you're not expending, like the pick. He comes in, he's the final piece, and
Fits in
I mean,
perfectly,
all three of those guys you talked about have had major injuries and have missed major time in their career.
Well, I was just like asking the question. I already know what our biggest needs are, which is offensive line, corner, and wide receiver.
I would agree with you on that. Yeah,
I think everybody's on
offensive
the
line
same
is
page.
definitely number one. Even though I'm a wide I like wide receivers though, but offensive line is there because you need Mac to be protected. Because I just can't see him getting hurt again. Jesus. Okay. Y'all
Yeah.
All right.
yeah,
Thanks, William.
And I think that the tackle is probably at the top of the needs list. But like, if you want to sell me on like Evans guy Jordan Addison, who's terrific, like, and you can get him at 14, which he'd probably be available at 14. Yeah, like if you think he's going to be a special player, I could be sold on that. At 14.
Sam in Toronto writes in, I swear Patriots fans are the best. Guy calls in saying Patrick Mahomes' $500 million contract is a discount. What are we talking about?
Yeah, that's.
I mean, you can't ignore that guy.
I'm going to defend Spee a little bit. That's not. I think his point was just that he's not in the top 5, so that stat. Like, I'm not interested
but it's
in
a moving
right. I'm not
target.
interested in the stat per se. I'm interested more in the mentality of. A lot of people still believe in Santa Claus that you can't pay your quarterback big money and still win. And I would say that if he's 8th, as Spee claims, I don't have the numbers in front of me. If he's 8th, that's paying him big money. Like, you don't
Right.
the guy who's making the 8th most money in 2022 is not on a hometown discount.
Kristen writes in from Houston. The story of gross people on airplanes reminded me of something that happened just this past weekend. I was at a sports bar to watch college basketball. Someone decided to change their baby's diaper at an empty booth. He changed the diaper on the seating, but definitely put the dirty diaper on the tabletop while he put the clean one on the kid. I don't think I've ever been that horrified in my life.
Of course,
Well,
it's a man.
I do think it's gross, but I also have to say, like, people with kids in those kind of situations, like, just I give them a little bit of leeway.
Go to the bathroom.
Wait, where was
Do
this?
they
This
have
was in a
baby-
restaurant.
Your car.
Do
You
they
got a
have
baby?
baby changing?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
things
This
in
is why I was
restaurants?
going to defend the guy on the email, not the I've done it many times. Mike is right. Like, it's like, God, you couldn't just wait.
panic
like,
time.
It is panic time. But they have almost every restaurant has a chain. Those kinds of restaurants.
The family,
the
family
family
restroom.
You
with
could
the
get
pull-out thing.
the
to put it
pull-out
on.
plastic thing that comes down. You get all that taken care of in a bathroom. You don't have to do that in front of
They
everybody.
got them at Home Depot, for crying out loud. Also, Kristen says she agrees with me on Tom Brady's answer to Jim Gray's unretirement question. It wasn't nearly as strong as I thought it would be. Yeah,
Yeah, I have to go check that out. I'm not familiar with that.
I am.
No, and I'm not denying you. I said I missed the Florio thing.
Yeah.
I missed this thing that you're
I think
talking
that was
about.
Felger and Maz too that Florio was on.
I missed a lot of. I did catch a little of Mike Lombardi on Felger and Maz
Whoa,
yesterday, and
that's big of you.
Felger did a good job. Didn't let him off the hook.
Yeah.
Like he, started going in and he was talking about like it's about Belichick this, and then he goes, what about Belichick without Brady? I mean, it's a pretty big, before and after Brady, and then Lombardi did his mental gymnastics that he always does, and he goes, yeah, but like, I mean, that's still like a big sample size before and after Brady. Like, you wouldn't let him go on it. It was pretty good.
James Pettigrew, the most interesting Patriots fan in the world, writes in, long may the most random podcast continue. I personally have very nice kempt feet, but I had a friend in the Army who didn't wear socks with his boots in the jungle.
Wow.
We'd be out for weeks, and every morning I'd see him put his wet, bare feet into his boots and march all day.
God.
More traumatic than anything I saw in war.
That seems like Matt, can you speak to this? This seems like an armed services no-no.
Yeah.
Take care of your feet is always like priority one. Am I
Liar.
correct?
Really?
Not gonna call him a liar.
Well, he's not U.S.
He's not
Army.
U.S. Yeah.
Looser regulations.
Definitely not a Marine. We keep our feet.
Hydrate
and change your socks. That's
It's
what
not-
they tell
but
you.
It's not U.S. I'm just saying they might have different regulations.
Yeah.
Same
for the
feet,
most
though.
interesting Patriots fan alive.
Yeah.
James Pettigrew.
Paul, I agree with all you say. I hear your silent.
I agree.
I hear your silence with Evan on occasion, and I always silently agree. I know what he's saying.
I do too.
We're gonna have to catch Evan when he gets in here.
And
in
I
a
will
few
just
minutes.
say that you're not wrong.
We always say on this show that no matter what the subject, there's someone listening that's an
Yeah.
expert. Tom is calling in from Napa,
Wine
in
guy.
California.
Oh, here we go.
So, Tom, what do you
If
got?
you're from Napa, you got to know.
Talk to us about wine.
Yes. Hey, guys. How you guys doing?
Good.
Yeah. I don't
yeah,
know.
No, I figured I had to call in.
Are you a
and
sommelier who's
question.
going to yell at me?
No. So the only reason you smell a cork is to tell if the wine is bad. But the cork isn't. You could just smell the glass of wine, too. So it's a wasted extra step.
Okay.
That sounds like Eric, though. A wasted extra step. To make it, you knew what you're doing. Oh, you don't smell the cork? I always do, just to make sure.
But yeah, no, I do work in the wine industry. Do you guys have any other questions?
No.
Are you familiar with Bledsoe's Vineyard?
I am. I actually have visited a couple times, met him.
Yeah. So, how would you rate his double back cab?
You know, I'm more of a fan of Napa Big Bold Mountain Cab.
Okay.
But it's not bad for a Washington cab at all.
Okay. What about Stag's Leap, Artemis?
Stag's Leap, wine cellars or vineyard?
I don't know. I've just
Yeah.
said.
Not sniffing now, are we?
I just had the Stag's Leap Artemis, which 2014 cab was excellent.
That is very, very good. Why don't you guys come out here? My family owns a wine tour company, so we can take you guys out on a wine tour.
All right. We'll be there next week. No,
Deuce will be out there.
Maybe someday we'll take you up on that.
I've been out there.
All right.
Sonoma,
Well,
though.
y'all have a good one.
Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about some of this wine stuff. Did you guys, any of you guys, check out that Joe Montana piece, that Wright
I
Thompson?
want to
No, I
now that
haven't.
you've talked. Everybody's been. Well,
I
not
know.
everybody.
Yeah, Matt oversold my reaction to it.
He made it sound like it was the greatest thing ever written.
It was a
Everything
pretty.
Wright is the greatest thing ever written.
Yeah, I didn't. This was the ironic part of this is I am a big fan of him as a writer, and I thought he was a little all over the place.
Really?
In this, but there was a ton of really interesting tidbits that he had. But yeah, Montana. It was an interesting.
What was
interesting
what was
look.
it
Just
about?
like how difficult it has been for him to sort of come to grips with the fact that he's not the GOAT anymore.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I had no idea. I'm sure that Joe Montana fans knew this, but how poorly he was treated both in high school and in college by his coaches.
Really?
Especially high school. And the high school guy never let it go. He would, like, every year that they would go to the Super Bowl and they would ask him about him and they would say how selfish the guy would say how selfish he was. It was like, do you remember when Michael Jordan got inducted into the Hall of Fame? I'll address this to Alex because I know Mike probably doesn't know who Michael Jordan
Michael
is.
B. Jordan?
Do you remember when
Michael Smith?
he went out of his way, Alex, to take a rocket shot at the JV coach
Yeah.
there, the
Yeah.
high school coach that
The
put him on
infamous
JV?
story,
Yeah.
exactly.
And he still, like, he invited him, but he still had to take a shot at him. That's what the coach would do to Montana. Like, even as he's going to all these Super Bowls and winning them and clearly emerging as the greatest quarterback ever, his high school coach is still telling you he was right for not playing him. Like, it was really
It's
bizarre.
kind of a testament
It's his
to
job
Montana.
to keep him in his place.
For
you know?
me, it's a testament to Montana, especially in high school, because, like, especially at that age, all it takes is one bad coach that you don't like to make you totally hate a sport and never want to play again.
Yeah, and he because I guess Joe's father was pretty close. He was an only child, Joe, and the father was pretty involved, and he was really resentful to the father, the coach, the high school coach.
Oh,
was
that he was
resentful
up
to
his
the father.
butt.
It's an interesting. It is long.
I will read.
So you gotta definitely block off an amount of time, but it was an interesting piece, and Brady's presence in it is really interesting as well.
Mitch from Albany has a Who Am I game. You want to play?
Yeah.
Evan's here. He can join in if he wants.
Who am I?
These are all random Patriot players whose jersey I've owned, says Mitch from Albany.
That's a tough one.
Number 1, I hold an NFL record that will never be broken. Anybody want to?
I'm not going to burn a guess
on
this one.
Right. You burn your guess, you're out. I spent 14 seasons with the Patriots. No. I was a kicker.
Adam?
No, you're out.
Sorry.
Stephen Gostkowski. The record is consecutive extra points made with 523. Number 2.
Well, why
From
would that
19
never
yards?
Right.
But why will that never be broken?
I don't know.
It just won't, Paul. Don't worry.
That's what
Well,
he
probably
said.
because it got
He
pushed
said
back.
so.
Yeah,
Right?
Maybe.
I mean,
that's true.
I just looked at it as
they
something
set-
that you don't do anymore.
No,
Like,
but
that's why it's a
they
record that
reset
will never
it.
be
Yeah.
broken.
Number 2, I've been on 4 teams, including 2 seasons with the Patriots. 4 teams, 2 seasons with the Patriots. I was on the team in 2011 and 2012. Good one then. I hold the Division II college football record for most rushing yards in a career with 7,000.
Danny Woodhead?
Danny
Yes.
Woodhead.
Oh, what's that, like Shadron
Yep.
State? Was that what
That
it was?
one.
Yep.
The last one gave
Chadron?
it
Wait,
away.
sorry. Chadron or Shadron?
I don't
know.
Shadron.
Oh,
Shansler.
a CH.
No one told me. to
Number
pronounce
3,
it.
my career was a giant what if. I am the only player in NFL history with consecutive games of over 200 receiving yards.
Terry Glenn.
No. I led the league in receiving yards and was an All-Pro in 2013.
Oh, I know it now, I think. But I can't guess.
My career was a giant what if. If you go back, this completely makes sense now.
Hernandez.
No.
Oh,
Nope.
Off the team by 30.
Josh Gordon.
Oh, yeah. That one still bothers me.
Full disclosure,
That
I was
bothers
wrong
me.
even with my second guess. I was thinking Brandon Lloyd.
Can I do a quick aside? Just how did you guys feel? Like Josh Gordon, totally different guy. That 13 guy who was here and burned everybody, and then he got here in like 19, and it was like
He couldn't run.
He can't run anymore.
Yeah.
Number 4, I eclipsed 1,000 yards, rushing yards twice in my career, only once with the Patriots.
Corey Dillon.
Nope. He did 1,000 yards more than twice in his career.
Okay.
I went undrafted. He was undrafted.
Ben Jarvis Green Ellis.
Correct.
Oh.
He got over
The law
1,000 yards
firm.
twice?
Twice in his career, only once with the Patriots.
Yeah, but who else did he play for?
I think the next year after he left
Cincinnati?
here. Yeah, I think he had 1,000 yards the year after he left.
I would have lost a lot of money on that bet.
Yeah.
Isaiah Pacheco reminds me of him, like a more talented version of him, but just a wrecking ball who like accelerates into contact.
I loved me some Ben Jarvis.
Yeah.
Last
met him
one.
time.
Last
Nice guy.
one. I spent 5 seasons with the Patriots and won 2 Super Bowls.
Really narrows it down.
Yeah. I had 12 touchdowns over those 5 years.
12.
I now spend my time being on a reality TV
Martellus Bennett.
No.
Nope.
I now spend my time being on a reality TV show.
Danny Amendola.
Correct.
I just caught him on that reality show like 2 weeks
What
ago. I would have no
reality
idea.
show is he
It's
on?
like a military training one
Yeah.
where they put him through
Special
like
Forces, I think
Yeah,
it's
he
called.
looks
It's
old
not-
though. I don't know.
not-
I like
not
he
for
look
me.
all of a sudden Danny Amendola looks like he's aged a lot to me.
And that's too intense for me with reality.
It was
Maybe
he
a
had
lot
to
of
like
partying after he
he had to like
retired.
rappel down a thing. It's like that kind of stuff.
So, Evan, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Anything on your mind? No?
No, I had
Okay.
some interesting conversations that I was listening to upstairs.
You got those questions. What were the Evan had? There were a couple email comments for Evan, weren't there?
Well, there was one on that thanked Evan, said thank
Yeah,
God
yeah,
for
yeah,
Evan
yeah.
on your Brady take.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're welcome.
And then the next guy ripped you for
And
your
then the
Brady
next
take.
guy said Brady doesn't owe you a thing.
So this bothers me. So we can start on this. Tom Brady and I are both. I'm a young grown man, but we're both grown men. Okay, obviously he doesn't owe me anything. Like I hate that phrasing because it's just bugs me. It's like, oh, some other person. Like nobody owes me anything, whether it's Tom Brady or it's somebody that I actually know. Like no one owes me anything in this world. That's not the point. Okay, so thank you. That's all I got.
Just want to mend those bridges.
All right.
Yeah, I just that's it. Nobody owes me anything.
Ben
Not
and
5.
Ben and Shutters is willing to buy us lunch if we can have a PU piece and/or show where Paul, Deuce, and Evan. Notice how he leaves me out. talk us through their individual tenets of building a roster. We've heard tidbits over the years, but would love to hear how they would do it every year if they were GM, such as draft a quarterback every year until you get the guy, don't waste picks on O-line, pay for a stud receiver, et cetera, et cetera. Not necessarily using this Patriots roster as a basis, just what their mantras would be if they were a GM looking at free agency and building through the draft.
I like that. I mean, there's a couple that come to mind for me. I think drafting and developing quarterbacks is always good business. Even if you have a guy. I mean, maybe if you're the Chiefs or you have the guy, but I wouldn't be opposed to the Patriots taking another guy this year. I just think until you have that guy, it's too important to let it slide. And last year when they took Zappe, I was like, great. I don't think it really necessarily says anything about Mac, but I just think that's one I believe good business.
I don't disagree. I think regardless of who the quarterback is, though, building up the infrastructure around the quarterback every single year. Like, for instance, the Patriots at wide receiver. They got some NFL talent on the roster already. They used a second-round pick on a wide receiver last year with Tyquan. I still want them to take another wide receiver in the top 100. I still want them to build on the offensive line. I think that you look at all these quarterbacks, and maybe outside of Patrick Mahomes, I don't know if there's any quarterback in the league that gets here in this Super Bowl week, gets to the Super Bowl, gets to their the AFC Championship game consistently without help and a foundation around them. And I think we learned that for 20 years with Brady, that he's great, but he still needs guys to throw it to. He still needs a defense. He still needs guys to block for him. And that would be my big thing, is don't just put it all on the quarterback. You got to be able to build the roster up around him.
Yeah, and you guys know if I was building, I could give you all my tenets for building a roster, but I'm fully, in full disclosure, I know my team will suck. Because it's not going to have enough,
linemen?
Well, it won't have any linemen. And it also won't have any bad guys. Because I don't really have time for.
In Paul's league, they count to 3 Mississippi, and then they just run.
You can play. You get 2 blitzes per game.
I fully understand that my philosophies are flawed.
Yeah, well, I think just to Evan's point, I think this is where we're at right now. It's like the debate of what's more important, protecting him or giving him guys that are so good. It doesn't really matter because he's going to get the ball out in 2 seconds.
Right. To Evan's point, that's why you have to sort of cater to what you have. And I think an offensive line is far more important for a guy like Mac Jones than it would be for somebody else with talent.
Yep. Andrew in L.A. says, after being able to watch this great dynasty in its entirety as a Patriots fan, I can honestly say a big population of this fan base did not deserve the GOAT. This population, Evan included, shame Brady for leaving and also for remembering the good times while he was here. You hate that he left? Ask yourself why he left. You think someone that had his competitive spirit and fire should be subject to disrespectful contracts year after year? Meanwhile, your coaches, henchmen spew nonsense like we could have won with any top 10 quarterback. I guess you don't love what made Brady Brady. He has it in his DNA to prove his doubters wrong. So if you supported the institution that was insulting him, you didn't love Brady. You love the winning that Brady brought you. I also hope he doesn't sign a one-day contract, but it's for much different reasons. So they're there.
I did love Brady. That's why
it hurts so much.
That's why my heart is broken, is because I loved him deeply, and then he left me, and it was devastating.
Yeah,
you suck.
A lot of Ray in Pennsylvania, inspired by Evan's recent heel turn on Tuesday's show. I came up with a nickname for everyone when they are a little angry. Starting with Paul, a.k.a. Snarky Paul, or the Great White Snark. No point in changing perfection there.
Thank you.
Next we have Deuce, or Sneaky Negative Deuce. But as of recently, he's closer to Diabolical Deuce than he is Sneaky Negative.
I like that.
Now time for nicknames for the rest of the grumpy crew. Fred is Furious Freddy or Curmudgeon Kirsch. Evan is Evil Evan. Alex,
I think we can do better than that.
Yeah, Alex is Angry Alex. He has question mark.
We got to get her.
We can do better than that too.
Tamara is Testy Tamara, and Marine Corps Matt drawing a blank there. I think just Psycho would do it.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe like Jake Steele or something.
Well, that's my superhero name.
That's my name in pools.
Let's see.
Just in case.
Let's see. Tony writes in regarding how hard it is for Brady to stop. Remember, teammate after teammate and opposing team players have called Brady the most competitive athlete they've ever seen. And pro athletes, these are people who are among the most competitive individuals there are.
No, I think he's probably annoying. I respect it, but it's like it's so competitive. You're like, dude, we're just playing checkers. Like we're just doing a thing. Like you don't have to get all angry about it. Like I mean, I think we've all probably had friends like that who just like can't let it go and get way too into it.
And that's what you get from
Not
Montana, right
Joe
over.
Montana, you pointed at him like
I'm looking right over Evan's shoulder.
I'm looking
like
right at you.
that piece that I was
Yeah.
talking about. Montana has that same, chip that Brady
So how
does.
does-
It's amazing how similar because of the doubters. Like he went
Yeah.
to Notre Dame and he just was never accepted.
So it was like
as the
real
guy.
doubters, though, because I know a lot of people who have like fake doubters, and they just like no one believes in me. Like no one's saying they
but
don't
it's-
believe in you.
I think it's
Like
almost
Patrick
always.
Mahomes.
Yeah, I think it's almost always born out of reality.
Yeah, right, well, sure. Yeah.
Brady. Like I like to tease Brady the overcoming adversity thing. Like I know how hard it must have been to. Go to Michigan to play football, one of the most
Be a
prestigious universities. I know how
Major
hard,
League Baseball draft.
I know,
pick.
yeah, and be drafted in baseball as well. I know how much he overcame as he had to wait till he was like a freshman in high school before he got his own personal throwing coach. I get it, a lot of adversity there, but there is truth to the fact that Lloyd Carr just wouldn't allow him to be the starting quarterback. Period.
Yeah.
Like it was Drew Henson. He's going to split time. He's going to come in for certain series because he was the next fair-haired boy. And Brady just kept having to keep beating him down before he finally won the job. Like there's some truth to that.
And I'm sure, like, if you're Brady, inside, I'm good, and they're not seeing it.
Right.
Like, there shouldn't even be a question here.
Yeah, so Brady was a Shrine Bowl guy, so I was watching his Shrine Bowl back in 2000, lighting it up at the Shrine Bowl in classic Tom Brady fashion, and I think it was funny because same to Paul's point, I was like, What didn't Michigan see? And like he went to the Shrine Bowl and he was just throwing the ball all over the place, and I'm like, wait a second, like this is why didn't he start all the time at Michigan? Like I'm very confused. And then
at least those last 2 years, and I can understand when he got there he was fighting with like Driesbach and Greasy, and those guys were pretty good. Like Drew Henson never turned out to be anything, and
All hype.
He kept having it, and if you want to say, well, what's the big deal? Why is he? It was the reason why he was drafted in the 6th round, because NFL evaluators kept looking at it and saying, "Geez, I see what Evan's seeing, but why? Why does he not? Why does he not just take the job by himself?"
Mm-hmm.
And it's got to be something. Lloyd Carr is probably not an idiot. Well, it turns out Lloyd Carr probably was an idiot.
Right.
I just remember as when I was a what's the term, casual? When I was a casual fan, like I just like
I can't
Patriots fan.
I can't ever think
Civilian.
of you that way.
Civilian,
Casual,
But we're never a casual.
But
fan.
I just remember, and I love Drew. Like I have all the respect in the world. But there was something about Brady when I just going to the bar out in California. Oh, the Patriots got this new quarterback. There was just something about him to me that I'm like, this guy looks like he can do it. Like he just looks like a quarterback to me. And I don't know. There was just something about his mojo, his swagger, whatever it was. He had it instantly for I guess in the second season. I never even probably saw him in 2000. But
let's get back to the phones. Henry's in Norway.
Henry.
I'm a big fan of the show, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
One Patriots-related question and one PU-related question. A couple of months ago, Fred, you mentioned that Evan had some grievances.
Yes.
And we never heard what those were, I believe.
I don't know what they are either.
Oh, no.
Evan, do you want to share your grievances with us?
I have a note.
Festivus.
He has a note.
Yeah, he takes notes on his phone. So, okay.
Because I'm a millennial.
Do you want to hang on while he goes over them,
didn't
Henry,
write
or
them
are you
in
going to
a-
hang up?
in a
Let me
paper
see if I can find it.
I'm
spiral-bound
gonna
notebook?
hang up. Just one more question.
Yeah.
Football-related. In terms of arm strength, how good of an arm did Tom Brady have compared to everyone else? Is he like top 5?
Well, I think
top
he was
10?
upper, not top, but he was above average arm. He didn't have a cannon, but definitely above average arm, no doubt. That's
Right.
that was underrated with him, like his arm strength.
I think I heard a lot too that he threw a
Thanks,
really
Henry.
nice ball. Paul, you're a quarterback. You could probably speak to that, maybe. But like
It's not like I threw a really nice ball.
But I think that was part of like his appeal was just that he threw a nice
Very
ball, and a
catchable
catchable ball. Yeah.
Pillowy.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree with Fred's description. I think his skills were woefully undersold coming out of college. He threw the ball in training camp.
He sure did.
Much better than anybody ever said that he was capable of throwing the ball. Now, I don't think he had, upper echelon arm strength, but
he could get it there.
He had upper.
I never remember being
average.
like
it was above average.
Get there. I never remember that.
Never once.
He could hit them all.
No. He didn't have the off platform like Mahomes, Josh Allen off the back foot, but his ability to drive the ball into the middle of the field in particular, just to step into it and uncork one, right in between two zone defenders or something.
I mean,
that was always
like
good.
some of those like overtime throws against the Falcons, like the Hogan and to Amendola, like the out where it's just like it is absolutely perfect. You can't defend it. It's perfect velocity.
But you never,
perfect
while
placement.
the ball was in flight, you never said.
Yeah, it's
taken
taken
a
a
long
long time to get there.
Like we do
Paul,
all the time
you
now.
sense where I was going. You sense where I was going with this, and I was trying not to say it explicitly.
You
but
do
yes.
it more than I do.
I knew that was where this was going.
But that's a
it's
Mikeism.
true.
Don't
It's
blame me
true.
for that one.
I can't deny it. I'm like, get there.
All right, so what do you got, Evan?
Okay, all right. So this is
lay it out.
What is this from? Can we have a date on
full
this?
disclosure, this
what
was
it
when
said.
I was in Arizona, right? So this was between
Oh.
the Cardinals and the Raiders week, and I'm in the.
It's like 3
This is
months ago.
festive.
I'm in the
This is
hotel.
airing of grievances.
And the night
let it
before
go.
we're about to go to Vegas, and I'm packing, so I was like, I'll throw on the pod and listen to what the guys and gals were talking about. And there was a couple things in here that I didn't really like.
All right.
All right. So number one, there was some Atlas talk. My pup.
Yeah.
All right. There's some Atlas talk on the show, and someone said that he's a Great Dane.
Oh.
Wrong.
Oh,
not a Great Dane.
I hope the better part is coming.
That's a grievance?
Yes.
They got my dog's breed wrong.
He loves his dog. He loves his dog.
I'm waiting
Ridgeback.
for. Paul called it a.
I got a feeling there's going to be
Paul called it
grievances
an over
coming out
route
of
when it
this.
was actually a hitch.
Okay. No. And then somebody also made a joke that Atlas likes watching film.
That's good. That's good.
And he does. He does.
Okay.
He usually sits
Like he
next
has a
to me
choice.
and watches it. Sometimes he wants to put his head on the keyboard though, and I have to be like, no, you can't. Now you're just things are happening on the screen because you're.
Does he ever do
noggin.
a cover 2 on the rug?
only one time because we left him overnight for the first time and we went and picked him up and he didn't like that.
Reviewing the film.
Because a Great Dane cover 2, that's a
Ridgeback, not a Great Dane.
I was gonna say, it's not a Great Dane.
I'm only kidding.
He gets very
I'm
upset.
feeding into this.
It's huge though. Real quick. How much does he weigh?
80 pounds. Okay. So then Alex said that I couldn't own a Great Dane because it would drag me around.
Stand by that. I
because
stand
I'm-
by that
I'm-
1,000%.
Because I'm apparently a
I
weakling.
remember that.
I stand
remember
by
when
that
Alex said that.
1,000% still.
So I apparently can't.
Heel.
Yeah.
I'm gonna adopt a Great Dane this weekend just to bring it in
And
and show Evan.
And then the answer to that was also wrong. Stronger than I look. Thank you. Then Fred commented that I apparently.
How many bullet points are there?
There's 4.
Just a transcript of that.
How many have we gone through so far?
3.
This is number 3.
All about the dog.
Fred commented that in reference to my girlfriend that I had was playing above the rim.
Okay, that's a compliment.
And
I think
Are you
I may
going
have
to
said
say
that.
on the record that you're not?
And the phrase
I will send this audio to Jess.
Be careful now.
The phrase
Your girlfriend might be listening.
The phrase I would like to use was outkick
my coverage.
I
Okay.
believe
because
that.
we're
I
football
believe
fans.
I
Sport
threw that in there at that
terminology.
point.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
I think I
And-
added, haven't we all?
And 110% correct. That one's 100%.
Well, why is that a
correct.
grievance
And-
then?
And
because
I'm
just-
saying that sight unseen. I've never met your girlfriend.
because I liked outkick my coverage better.
Okay, all right.
And then there
He's
was
a football guy.
Last one. Apparently, somebody else called in and said that me and Paul had this huge beef or something like that. That we hated each
Well,
other.
that's true.
Well, that's
And,
true.
And so I want to say I have nothing against Paul. I love
know.
Paul.
And I'm not even sure we've ever really had beef.
Yes.
I'm just glad
Part
none
of
of
the
these
show.
were HR worthy, you
No.
know, because that's what I'm always worried about.
No, but the one that hurt me the most was
the
Alex
dog?
saying that I
Oh.
couldn't handle a
I
Great
couldn't
Dane.
handle a Great Dane.
Yeah.
Truth hurts, my dear.
Fred, could you come down to HR? Yeah, we had one of your employees say that he would accused him of playing above the rim.
What does that mean exactly? Maybe
Alex
we can get
is being
a.
mean. She doesn't think I can handle a 200-pound dog.
Well, maybe we can get Doc McLeod if he's listening to draw a picture of Evan being dragged by a Great Dane and to sum up
All
today's
right,
show.
so you have a Ridgeback.
Yeah, Rhodesian Ridgeback, or an African Lion Hound, as they're now called, because Rhodesia is a little bit of a touchy political subject these days. But yeah, I like to call him a Ridgeback. That's
Okay.
what he is.
All right.
Over my head.
He's my boy.
One more call, then we're going to talk about the game coming up and do our picks. Austin's in Michigan.
right.
What's up, Austin?
Hey guys, so I have two things to talk about. First, you guys been talking about Tom Brady and kind of like honoring his career in a sense.
Yep.
And like, you talked about like bringing him back for $1 a day contract or whatever. And I've been thinking about this a little bit, and we did that for Vince Wilfork. And I thought if we do that for Tom Brady, it ought to be at least $6 for 6 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Or $12.
Come on,
Do you
it's gotta
actually
be
pay?
fair,
Yeah, it's
right?
not really about money.
No.
It's a one-day
Well,
contract.
that-
It's a
yeah.
ceremonial kind
Yeah.
of thing.
That is
Yeah,
funny,
well,
though.
that's why I think it'd be kind of, funny to do $6 instead of 1, honor those.
I
kinda
think
trips
I
he took
think the
with him
only
there.
contract he should get is one for life. Contract for life.
What's
he
that
want that?
payout?
Well, whatever it is. I mean, I don't see the money is irrelevant here. These are all honorary. It's like,
Yeah.
getting a doctorate from a college that you didn't attend,
Yeah.
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 I just don't want
And
it
then
to.
my second thing is you had a caller or something earlier talking about how Zappy should be like, the future QB or whatever. And
this show?
looking back at this year and last year, I feel like one of the most comparable games that you could put the two together is the Patriots versus the Browns. And I look at that game, and Mac Jones, he didn't have as many passing yards, but he had more touchdowns. And I feel like that's some sort of validity to, what he can do when he has a little bit more support behind him. I felt like with Bailey Zappi, it was a little bit different. Obviously, he's a rookie, so a lot of teams don't really know how he plays necessarily in the NFL quite yet because they don't have enough film on him to kind of get an understanding of his game. But I look back at that, and I think personally that Mac Jones should be the guy of the future. He just needs a little support. And, we haven't had the greatest team based off of skill position players in a couple of years when you compare us to, like, people like the Bengals or whatever. But I feel like you give a guy like Mac a little bit of help, and he could do a lot with it.
Well, that's the hope. That's the hope.
Yep. I'm praying every Sunday for it.
All right.
So.
Thanks, Austin.
I just think to Paul's point, I just hope they do enough this offseason that we all feel like he has enough around him to be properly judged with an offensive coordinator. And, it's like
unless he does well.
I mean, we just need to give him the support like that Cincinnati provides. Like,
yeah, we're not going to get Jamar Chase.
Who's
this
the
year.
greatest coach in the history of the NFL?
Bill Belichick.
Oh. Who's
Cincinnati has 3 receivers that are better than
who's-
anybody on the
who's Mac-
Patriots.
Who's Mac Jones' coach?
Bill Belichick.
Huh.
O'Brien.
No support. Lack of support. Killing him.
That's Paul.
Like Cincinnati is
T.
the
Higgins,
laughing stock
Tyler
of the
Boyd.
league, right?
Yeah, but Bill's not catching any passes or running any routes.
No, I'm just
Or
talking
blocking
about. I'm
or-
talking about support.
I know.
Like
But I think what the
Joe Burrow
what
inherited
the caller is,
arguably the worst situation that you could possibly inherit.
I
Cincinnati.
understand, but what the caller is calling support is who,
No,
who is on the field with him.
I'm not a moron. I know what he's talking about.
Right.
But yes, they don't have as
morons.
much talent as Cincinnati on the field. They have a lot of things that blow Cincinnati away off the field.
Yep.
In terms of ownership, franchise tradition, head coach, like things that Cincinnati couldn't even think about.
Right. But we got to score touchdowns.
Yeah, well, I think Joe Burrow would be scoring a lot of touchdowns if he was the Patriots quarterback. That's just my opinion.
Probably more than Mac, but
I saw Joe Burrow last night. They did the NFL Films wrap up of the mic'd up for the season, and one of my favorite moments was Joe Burrow swallowing a bug on the field. It was hilarious. Like he's just like, oh my God, I just swallowed. Like he's always just so calm, cool, and collected, and it was like he swallowed a bug, and he was like everybody normal.
Did
dude.
they have
like,
the bad lip reading going?
Oh, they should.
Those get me going.
I
all
just
the
swallowed
time.
a bug. It was so gross.
all right.
Jiggity, jiggity.
It's that time of the show. The big game, the Super Bowl. This is it. The 14-3 Chiefs are against the 14-3 Eagles. A good matchup. You know?
Yeah, it should be a
I'm
good one.
excited about this game.
Two best teams.
So, Paul, I know we did it last week, but just remind
I want to
everybody.
congratulate you, Fred Kirsch.
Yes. Why?
21 weeks it took.
Well,
But Fred Kirsch.
I saved
2-0.
I saved the best for last. This is the time that separates the
2-0 both
So the rubber meets
overall.
the road.
Overall and with the spread, with the number.
Yeah.
2-0. Everybody else was 1-1, and Ev was not here last week. Or 2 weeks ago, whenever we picked the conference
Next year I'll be
championship.
better about that.
So let's see. Paul and Fred are 9-3. Deuce is 8-4. Alex, you're 1-1.
Okay.
Evan is 8-2. So you didn't participate last week.
But I would have picked it
Which
right.
would
Would you?
kill him.
Okay. All right.
And if it was wrong, he would have gone through great lengths to tell everybody why he was still right.
Yes. So what's the?
That's why people think we got beef.
What's the number? What's the number for this game, Paul?
The number that I saw this morning was the Eagles by 1.5.
Oh, so it's gone down.
Well, Kansas City opened as a favorite.
I know, but it went up to 2.5 for the Eagles. Now it's back down to 1.5.
That it could be 2.5. I just did a thing on my phone because I completely forgot because we had that meeting all morning, and I didn't get it off of my website that I normally go to.
It's 1.5 on ESPN right now.
Okay, 1.5. We're
I
going
got
to go with
1.5
that.
on the
Okay.
spread,
And
too.
by the way, 6-6 for Fred,
What about on
6-6
your
for
paper?
Paul, 4-8 for Mike on the spread.
Okay.
I didn't give those numbers. 1-1 for Evan.
All right.
Thank you.
Any prop bets we should know about, Paul?
I didn't write any of them down. Again, we were tied up all morning. I normally have a little fun with that. I give
First
you guys
touchdown?
I give you guys like 8 or 10 prop bets. I don't have all the numbers.
I heard
all the
one
odds.
of them is like the prop bet was, will they do a split screen of the
Yeah,
Kelsey
I
brothers?
heard that.
But to me, like, if I know somebody at Fox
Yeah.
that's in the truck, I'm
And
like,
that's why-
can you guarantee me? And then I go put 10 grand on this.
Well, here's the thing.
Like, that's so easy.
Take it a step further. If you're the producer of the broadcast,
you
I'm
do it.
putting $1 million on it.
Right.
I control it.
You have somebody to. Well, I think that if you bet $1 million, the house would.
No, but you
they
do
would-
it. You have someone else go and put like 100 grand on it or something.
Well, even that much that flags would raise, but you do a lot.
Well, that's why.
Or you have 5 people do 10 grand.
You know,
for
we
you,
recently, it recently passed in Massachusetts on the 31st. We had all the
Not for
the
us,
sport
no.
book at WinBet, I think it's called, inside of the Encore.
Yeah.
And the gentleman that was on, specifically for that reason, Fred, they do not take any of those kinds of prop bets.
Yeah.
That can be, what color is the
Manipulated,
Gatorade?
yeah.
Right.
Like someone knows
Yeah.
like that's
Right.
information that can be known.
So Mahomes' attempts is 38.5
That's a
right
lot.
now.
That's a pretty high number.
It's a pretty high number, but I feel like if you're the Chiefs, you go down swinging with the quarterback.
Yeah,
right?
I think
mean,
touchdowns like 1.5 was like a pretty good odds for over 1.5 for Mahomes.
The closest I ever got was one of the Patriots Super Bowls. They actually had a line on what color hoodie Bill Belichick was going to wear.
You
I felt
really
like I had
are
inside
like
info.
just pathetic.
I
But
am.
like, to me, like something like that, if that's an actual thing you can bet on, like Bill's telling his friends, "I'm going to wear blue."
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Make
knowing him, he'd come out with the red.
No, but
After telling all his friends he's wearing blue.
No,
If he
it's
came
fine.
out in red, people would
Circle
lose
of
their
trust,
minds.
Paul.
Just when you thought you had all the answers, I changed the question.
All right, we got to hurry. We got to hurry.
I
Deuce.
got to go first. I
1.5.
Preface it a little bit.
Eagles.
I am going to stick with the Eagles, even though I've been, I feel like people are trying to talk me out of them. A lot of respect for Patrick Mahomes. I just think the injury is going to make a little bit of a difference, and I think just overall, the Phillies got a little bit more talent. So I'm gonna take the Eagles in this one. I think it's going to be competitive, though. I'm going to say 31-28.
Oh,
Eagles.
Okay, some points scored.
Yeah.
I
Evan?
want to take the Chiefs, but with Patrick Mahomes' injury,
Yeah.
I just don't know if he's going to be 100%. I think he's going to have to be to run away from Hassan Reddick and those guys. So I'm going to take the Eagles. I think at 1.5, you have to take them to cover. I mean, not going to win by 1. So
You got a score?
I'm going to say it's going to be high scoring. I'm going to say 34-31 Philadelphia.
You took my score.
Oh,
Yeah, Evan took my exact score prediction.
okay.
That was weird.
Hey,
But
great minds.
with the Chiefs or Eagles?
Eagles.
Okay.
Riding Philly.
I want to take
All
the
right.
Chiefs, too. I don't like it.
Paulie?
Yeah, I would echo everything Evan said. I want to take the Chiefs. I think Mahomes is the best player on the field, and I think that if all things equal, I would lean to that. I just can't imagine with that pass rush, even though Kansas City's offensive line is fine, I think the Eagles' defensive line is excellent, and I think they're going to get after him, and he's not going to be able to do what he normally does.
Yeah.
If I could somewhat be convinced that he was like 90%, 95%, I would take Kansas City, but I can't. I'm going to take the Eagles. I'll be rooting for the Chiefs, But I'm going to go, let's go 27-21, Philly.
When the playoffs started, I figured it was going to be Chiefs and Eagles. And even back then, when Mahomes was 100%, I thought the Eagles were going to win the game. And I'm going to stick with that. I don't want to pick the Chiefs, and I'm not going to pick the Chiefs. Eagles win this game. They're, is that just their second Super Bowl win?
Yeah.
So
they'd be 2-2.
More separation between them and the Chiefs. So I don't want the Chiefs winning any more Super Bowls.
Well, I would just say, based on all our picks, if the Chiefs pull it out, I think we'll all be singing the praises of Patrick Mahomes and what he was
listen,
able
I'm
to pull
singing
out.
his praises anyway.
What's your score?
Yeah.
What's your score?
27-24, Eagles. So.
Yeah, and we're all ignoring all the people that have been telling us all week of how much the Eagles actually suck, and you don't know what you're watching.
Right.
Yep.
They're a good team.
They said that about the 17 Eagles that beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. They were
they had Nelson Aguilar.
Right. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of Patriots Unfiltered. Everybody enjoy the Super Bowl this weekend. It's going to be
22.
fun. Catch 22 coming up now with Evan and Alex, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.
The world's original podcast.